All right, everybody, and welcome to the MURF and EDUBBS show. And EDUBBS is supposed to be joining me, but it would not be a MURF and EDUBBS show without some technical difficulties. EDUBBS just punched me over and said that he's got the whole family over there working on it. So I don't know if he's got his. Is EDUBBS there?
We're trying. I got the audio going, but not the video.
All right, listen, I'm gonna give the little intro to the show because we are live right now. Nobody.
You might have to give a 2-hour intro. The way this is going.
All right, I'm gonna pop you down, and when I see your face, and I'll bring it back up onto the stage. I'm gonna
Perfect.
All righty, I'll pop. Well, anyway, welcome to the MURF and EDUBBS show, and it's been a while since MURF and EDUBBS have been together, so we got a lot of stuff to talk about tonight. And obviously, EDUBBS is having some technical difficulties, so maybe I'm going to get through some of the, maybe some of the stuff that I want to get to, some of the sadder stuff that's been going on in the last couple of weeks. So first off, I'd like to say we lost two of our, I guess you can say listeners, but I lost two very close people to me in the last couple of weeks. That's why I really haven't been on doing the show that much. I lost my dad last week, and he was 76 years old, and that was a little rough. And 3 weeks or 2 weeks prior to that, Ernie Alfred unexpectedly passed. And if anybody is going to be listening to this podcast, you guys do know Ernie, and anybody that hears this, Ernie was a very solid member of our community, and he passed away suddenly at the age of 44. And my dad passed away at the age of 76. Cancer got him. Wednesday night, we all got together, we hung out, we talked, we told some stories, we laughed. And Thursday morning, he passed. So this is a sports show, and I'm not going to get all down in the dumps on this one. I am going to do a whole podcast on Keep Talking 365 about all this stuff that's been going on the last couple of weeks. But there is a sports, antidote to all this, because on Sunday at Fishkill Lanes, there's a benefit, a bowling tournament for Ernie Alfred. So I think all the teams have been made already. It was $40 per person to enter, and all the proceeds are going to the Alfred family. Alicia and the girls, they could definitely use their help at this time. It's a rough time for them. Alicia lost her husband, and the girls and Xavier, they lost their dad, and a lot of people lost their friend. I lost a friend. And we're all going to be down there at Fishkill Bowling on Fishkill Lanes on a Sunday afternoon. I'm going to be there with the setup going. The MURF and EDUBBS show will be there. I'm going to be setting up the microphone and the YouTube channel to try and get some try to get some stories about Ernie. So if you see me set up in the corner, don't be shy. Come down and, tell me a funny story about Ernie, and let's have some fun bowling. I think all the spots are taken, but I'm pretty sure that if you come, there's going to be 50-50s. There's going to be raffles. There's going to be all sorts of stuff going on. There's going to be buckets going on. Throw some money in. Help out the Alfred family. They're always the first people to be there for all of us, and now they need our help. So I don't know what is going on with EDUBBS right now. Let's check in. Oh, he's gone again. So, all right, that's the bowling tournament for Ernie. I told you a little bit about my dad passing, and that, like I said, that was a little rough. And I don't know. Let's talk about some fun stuff. All right. So I don't know how EDUBBS wants to get into the old WNBA stuff that I've been talking about on my TikTok channel. If you guys are listening, TikTok is Keep Talking 1972. I got away from the other one. The other one's been a little bit more successful. So guys want to go check that out. That's my TikTok channel, and I got a lot of videos on there. And I started getting into this Caitlin Clark a little bit. Now, all you hear throughout the league, you hear all the girls kind of like rumbling, saying, I don't know, saying, I guess they're a little jealous in not so many ways. I mean, I don't want to, get too far into it and, talk about, how I feel, because remember, these are women that, we're dealing with, and they have different feelings than men. Let's see if EDUBBS is there. EDUBBS, are you there? All right, EDUBBS is not there. So let's, all right, so let's continue. Caitlin Clark. So Caitlin Clark, this girl was the top player in college women's basketball, 4 years, Iowa Hawkeyes, broke records, broke men's records, shooting three-pointers. The girl is just kind of like the poster child for hard work, determination, and everything that goes into being a champion. Although she did not get that championship this year, however, she did become the first pick in the the WNBA draft. Now, the WNBA draft has held, and I really don't know when it's held. I kind of don't know too much about the WNBA. I don't know too much about its players, but I could tell you one thing. I am paying attention at the moment, and I am paying attention right now. And I am paying attention to one Caitlin Clark, who is lighting it up. She's getting the shit beat out of her on the court there. She's taking it on the chin. She's getting blocked. She's getting hit. But you know what, though? It was a little rough in the beginning. But you know what, though? She's really starting to step it up now. And let's bring EDUBBS up into this. EDUBBS, you there, buddy?
Yeah, do you hear me, Rich?
I can hear you. I can hear you. We're talking about Caitlin Clark right now.
Yeah, sometimes technology is not the way to go. You got to go old school. So we tried. I tried to get the camera going, and maybe I'll prepare a little better next time, Rich, because doing this 5 minutes before the show starts isn't a good idea, I guess.
That's all right. That's all right. I was talking, like I said, you could jump right in. I just got started talking about Caitlin Clark. I told everybody a little bit about my dad and Ernie in the bowling tournament on Sunday. EDUBBS, you're going to be there with Ben. You guys are going to be bowling. So I told them I'm going to be set up with the microphone if they want to come over and tell some stories about Ernie and whatnot. So I got through all that, and I just really started just talking about Caitlin Clark and how I kind of think it's kind of amazing what she's doing right now, how she's showing so much resilience in what she's been going through.
Yeah, first of all, condolences to the Alford family, to your family, Rich. Two big losses within weeks of each other. Eric,
and you know what, Eric, and I have to say something. Now that you're here, and I do have to say, you came to the wake. People came to the wake, and this is something that I talk about on the other side of the podcast. I talk about a lot of men stuff. You never met my dad, right?
I did not.
People showed up that never met my dad. And you know what? That's what kind of men do for each other. They show up for each other, man. You never met my dad, but you knew I was hurting as a man, and you guys showed up for me. Even if it was just to shake my hand, say hello to my mom or whatever. It's like, and I appreciate that. People just didn't have to come, but the ones that did, you guys know who you are. And Eric, you're one of them. Rob, Scott, Josh, Sylvester, Joe Sweeney, all these guys. These guys never met my dad, and they all showed up for me.
Well,
Jim
Rich,
Brown
it's all about respect, how we were brought up and stuff like that. People never like to go to these things, wakes and stuff like that. But, you do it for your friends out of respect and stuff.
I do appreciate it, Eric. I really do appreciate it from the bottom of my heart, dude.
Yeah, and, I worked at home that day, Rich, so I made sure, I'd be in the area and stuff like that. But yeah, that's what we do for each other. Unfortunately, my dad passed during COVID and stuff. It was a rough time, and funeral homes had their minimum people that can come basically and stuff like that. Exactly. But yeah, no, anything for you, buddy, and and same thing with Ernie too. It was a big turnout. We waited about a half hour to get in pay our respect and stuff like that. So it's just a respect thing, Rich, and people, like I said, that's the easiest thing to do in the world. People don't like to go to funeral homes, but it's the whole thing. People are there for you in happy times and in sad times, Rich, and sometimes it works the other way around where people are in happy times and they don't do it. So, but yeah, condolences to your family and the Alfred family as well. And we got the bowling tournament this weekend, right?
Yes, we'll be there. We'll all be there.
Yeah, my camera's acting funny, Rich. Do you see me?
I see
it moving. Okay, it's moving. Okay, because when I'm looking, it's pretty grainy and it's not really moving and stuff. So I'm gonna have to work on the technology and stuff going forward.
Listen, I thought your camera was fine. I just went outside before I got onto the podcast, so I thought maybe I was seeing a little trail.
You went outside to get some fresh air, right? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Some fresh air. So anyway, let's get back
started. Before we get started, this isn't a Red Sox shirt, it's a White Sox shirt. So everyone's saying, Yankee fan with her in a Red Sox shirt. I do have a Red Sox shirt upstairs, so I got it at Fenway Park. They were giving them away one day. So I just kept it for shits and giggles. One day I'll put it on for the show and stuff, and people are like, oh, what's he wearing? But it's a White Sox shirt. I went on a baseball trip. We'll talk about that in a couple of minutes. But you got you were talking about Caitlin Clark, right, Rich? You were just bringing that up. Yeah.
Yes, I kind of like what I want to ask you kind of about Caitlin Clark, because I really think what I was saying was I didn't know anything about the WNBA. I didn't really know anything about women's basketball. The only thing I really knew about women's basketball was the UConn Huskies, and their run and how good they were and stuff like that. But I really started paying attention, maybe in the last year and kind of like before that, because this girl Caitlin Clark was lighting it up. Now she comes into this WNBA. She ends the college basketball season. 2 or 3 months later, she's in the NBA. She's the number 1 pick. She's got a lot of pressure on her. You know what? The girls are, they're pushing around, they're saying whatever. The point is, whatever they're throwing at this girl, she's taking it. She's not complaining. She's not bitching. She's not saying anything that having anybody, whatever. She's got to be getting roughed up a little bit. She's got to be getting hurt. You know what I mean? But she's not saying anything. That's the point. And I think that she's very different than a lot of people at her age bracket, where I think that she's toughening it out. And she's showing something right now that I hope that's going to go on for the duration of her career. But at this moment, I respect the fact that all this stuff that's going on, she's still staying resilient and she's still standing tall.
Yeah, I think I just lost my camera there, Rich.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
That's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Okay. Yeah. No problem. Sorry about that. I'm gonna have to work on that. So I promise.
Don't worry about it.
I'll get my IT team together and we'll work on it. But yeah, so Caitlin Clark, the thing I have with that, Rich, so she's the face of the WNBA right now, no doubt about that, right? Probably the most prolific player to ever play in the WNBA, you think, or no?
What now?
And exactly right now.
No, that's the thing, because a guy went on a rant a couple of weeks ago about how with the Olympic team, how was she snubbed or whatever. I don't think she was snubbed per se, because when you think about it, she's a rookie. You know what I mean? I mean, maybe possibly she should have been on the team. I don't know, because I don't know the dynamic. But if she was put on that Olympic team, I think even more stuff would have been said about her. So maybe she could just kick back. Maybe this is not her year. 4 years from now, she'll get her gold medal. But my point being is, all these women that are playing, and listen, they're great athletes. I'm not taking anything away from them. The only reason why I wasn't really paying attention is because it's just I don't know, maybe it's a little too slow moving for me. I don't know. But now it's a little more exciting now with Caitlin Clark playing. And then maybe it is a little more exciting now that she's getting pushed around, that she's got beef with all these women. Because let me tell you something right now. The first woman that signs that $1 million contract, and maybe it will be Caitlin Clark, maybe it won't. I mean, they all got endorsements, but maybe it'll be, one of these players that gets this $1 million contract. It's not going to be because of anything else but the fact that Caitlin Clark came into this league and brought a lot of money, and more people are watching. That game drew 15. They're doubling and tripling the size of crowds away games now too. So just to see this girl play. So I think that, instead of saying, instead of, whining and complaining about this, shut the fuck up and just, play basketball, I guess. But kind of embrace it a little bit. And if you want to play the bad guy or bad girl, that's awesome. Play that to a T. Every time you see her, be that person. But know in the back of your head that this young lady is changing the game for the better. And she's changing the game for all these young ladies across the country that are looking at her right now and looking at her get the shit beat out of her and saying, you know what, though? She's still going out there and she doesn't care. So that's showing all these young ladies that are playing basketball, soccer, whatever sport it may be. Because I have some, people in my family, young ladies that are playing, sports at a high level. And, it shows a lot of resilience. Don't complain, just get out there and do it. And I think that separates greatness to a lot of people. I'm sorry I went on a little bit of a tangent, but that's how I feel.
No, I agree, Rich. And the way she's handling these interviews, I mean, she's getting clobbered in the head. She's getting knocked to the floor. It's kind of like worse than the NBA right now. You don't see this stuff in the NBA that much anymore, the toughness and stuff. But I think some of these players want her to complain and stuff. But being that she's not complaining, maybe they'll just back off and stuff like that. And, maybe they look at that and say, hey, this is the moneymaker for the WNBA area now. Let's not get her hurt or, debilitating injuries or anything like that,
Yeah, but that's the thing. I don't think that she really wants that any preferential treatment, because she hasn't said anything, and she's even beefing with her own teammates. She was you know what? look, everything is under a microscope with what people do, in their, in their personal lives. If you're a high level athlete or an actor or whatever, but she's under a microscope right now in everything that she does. Because I just saw an article saying that she was beefing with one of her teammates. So I don't know, maybe it was a play that they were, during practice, but maybe it was something else. But they're trying to say that they're beefing because of something outside of basketball. So they're making stories up. So they're creating controversy among teammates. So and I think that's wrong, man.
Yeah, no, definitely wrong. Definitely wrong. I mean, all of a sudden, it never happened before in this league. She comes into the league and it starts happening and stuff. But like you said, Rich, most of these arenas were opening the lower bowl. Now they're having to open the upper bowl because they're drawing 15,000 a game, and stuff. And
Yeah.
everyone's watching. It's on the networks now. I've seen the networks show it on a Sunday afternoon, double headers and stuff like that. So yeah, it's definitely caught on the WNBA. It's been around for so many years. And you ever go to a WNBA game, Rich?
No, I never have. I may, you never know. Maybe it's going to start to catch on. I may. I don't know.
Yeah, I went one time. I used to work on 33rd Street, so one day after work, I just decided to stop at the Garden before taking the train back to Queens and stuff like that. But I did go to one WNBA game, and I did the soccer games too, Rich. So EDUBBS, he might not say he likes these sports, but EDUBBS kind of like to show up to the events and stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, listen, I could barely follow hockey. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
right. Yeah.
I mean, I love hockey, but I can't. I mean, listen, I can say that I love hockey, but I don't watch it enough. So there's three sports. I'm trying to listen. Baseball, football takes up a lot of our time. Basketball, even if it takes up a lot. And I can add another sport. Maybe I'll dip in here and there. You know what I mean? But I can tell you right now, it is pretty exciting watching this young. And you know what it is too? It's like you want to say what you want. This girl, for instance, this girl Angel Reese. Okay, she was complaining a couple weeks ago. She was complaining a couple weeks ago about the fact how what about me? She was giving us that what about me thing that she had going. But the fact that the what about me? How about How about you do something? This girl's taking 3-point shots from mid court. She's banging she's knocking 3-pointers from all over the place. She's driving the basketball. She's playing defense. She's doing something different. Be different. You know what, Reese? You want to say, look at me, dunk a basketball. Dunk from the foul line. Do something to stand out. Caitlin Clark is standing out. That's why she is who she is. She stands out, and she's taking it on the chin. So you know what? Though keep bringing it, because you know what? That makes it interesting. More people are watching and listening because these girls are saying this stuff. So keep doing it.
Don't forget Angel Reese. Though she's been lighting it up. She has about 6 or 7 double doubles in a row, basically. So she's doing her part. I think she had 18 rebounds the other night, 16 points, 18 rebounds. So yeah, she is making a name for herself as well. So, but yeah, the whole Olympic thing. I mean, maybe Caitlin Clark, she's Italian. Maybe she goes to play for the Italy team and leads Italy to the gold medal in the Olympics. How about that?
No, you think that would happen?
I don't know.
You
never know, Rich. Stranger things have happened in sports, right? Yeah, right.
I don't know, but what about you? Would you ever consider even watching a WNBA game or?
Yeah, if it's on, I'll watch it. But during the baseball season, I got a lot invested. I don't know what's going on right now. It's 7-1 right now. The Braves are beating the Yankees, and Rodon is getting lit up. But yeah, no, how much we like baseball, you and I, and this is the one time of the year where baseball gets center stage, because in a couple of weeks the New York Jets and the rest of the NFL will be in training camp. I think July 26th they start training camp, or 18th, whatever, somewhere around there. So we're like a month away from football, Rich. 3 weeks away from football.
And where is my buddy Aaron Rodgers?
Well, I had a chat with a friend the other day about Aaron Rodgers. So Aaron Rodgers has played 4 downs in the past 2 years, basically, right? That's 4 plays, whatever.
Yes.
So the preseason comes along, Rich, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? Does Aaron Rodgers play in an exhibition game to get some snaps?
You know what? I don't. You know what? I don't. I don't think he should. Because again, we're gonna go on this thing about preseason. We'll talk a little football. We're gonna go on about preseason football. Preseason football is the worst. I think it's. You need to get. I understand you need to get live snaps.
Yeah.
But why is Aaron Rodgers going to take a snap against the Giants on week 3 of preseason when there's a possibility he could get hurt or somebody. You know, you limit it. Maybe you limit the preseason games, but I think that you're going to get more out of, you know, just like going over your plays. I just don't think preseason. I don't think Aaron Rodgers should play any preseason. I just don't. I mean, if he's there,
Yeah,
yeah, but you know, and people want to say like, no, he's part of the team. He should, I guess. But you know what though? I don't think so because come on, man, this is it. If he gets hurt again or something bad happens, like it's going to probably for Jet fans, I don't know if I can handle that another 365 days again.
right, right. Well, you know, there's going to be some rust though, Rich. He's not young. He's 40 years old, right? There's going to be some rust. So wouldn't you rather the rust get shaken off in a preseason game, or he goes out there the first game of the season? I forget who they're playing, the Jets, the first game of the season. Does he go out there and you know and risk the rust basically, and the Jets get into a 0-1 hole right off the bat basically?
That's the thing. I don't think preseason football is that important because if you're going, you know, it's important for the guys that are trying to make the team. I understand that, but even if it's not live reps, you're getting live reps anyway. Like you know, you're going to other camps, right? Like you're going to other, you know what I mean? It's like you're not just playing against the Jets. Like you know, you are. I don't know, dude. I just think that preseason football to me is a waste of time. It's a waste of time because it's a money grab because people are going to go to the games. It's a football game. It's an event. The Jet Giant game is an event, but you know well that you might see Aaron Rodgers in the third quarter in that game. People, they're going to get hurt because they're playing at a high level. These are high level athletes and they want them to play more football. I don't understand it. I think that preseason football is overrated. 2 weeks is fine. And I don't think guys like Aaron Rodgers, Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson, these guys, maybe a couple of plays. I don't think that they should play even a full quarter. Maybe a couple of reps. I think it's bad for business. It's bad.
Maybe a set of downs at least or something like that, you know, 4 plays and out or something. But yeah, you know, the whole reason behind the preseason football, Rich, is it makes money. So if they shrink it to 2 games, let's say, then what do? They put an 18th game on the season basically. So either way, the NFL is going to make out because I know with the season ticket holders, they got to pay for these preseason games. So the NFL doesn't care what they do, you know. So you know, right. I mean, I like to take Ben to a preseason game every year, and I look for the Jets Washington game on August 10th. It's a 12 o'clock game at MetLife, and there's tickets that are going for like $200 for this game. I have no idea why somebody would pay $200 for a football game in August, nonetheless. You know, that means absolutely nothing. Yeah.
I have people coming in from Thailand, and you know, AJ and his daughter Hannah, the biggest Met fan I know, cutest little girl ever. She says last time they were here, when she was leaving, they were going back to Thailand. And she goes to so many Met games with her father. She's a great sports fan.
Yeah.
So what do you want to do when you come back in October? She goes, I want to go see an American football game. That's what she wants to do.
Oh, wow.
So they're going to be back in October. So we're going to shoot for the Denver game. So October 5th. I think. So I think we're going to go out in October. So
nice. And I took Ben to the Black Friday game last year, the Jets and Dolphins. And every day I'm getting calls from the Jets to buy ticket packages. So I'm getting ready to say I'm not a Jets fan, you know? I mean, the guy calls me and then 2 minutes later when I don't pick up the phone, I get emails. So I don't know how desperate the Jets are to sell tickets, but I did buy tickets to the Giants Buccaneers game on November 23rd. Right. It's my chance to see the Buccaneers. You know, you get to go to an NFL game, whatever. I wish it was in September, but you know, November is okay, I guess, except you know, as long as it's not December and stuff. But yeah, I mean, you know, it will be here before you know it, Rich. The NFL, right? We love it.
Yeah, it will. It'll definitely be here. We'll talking about the Jets for 1 second. Like, I don't think that there's a point in time, like me being the age. I'm 52 years old, and you know, there's a lot of Jet fans that I know that commiserate that around, like, you know, within 10 years of my age bracket. You know, have never seeing a Super Bowl. And this is the first time, if you go back in history of the New York Jets, even like the 80s, the 70s, you pick a team. This is the most prepared football team to win a Super Bowl that the Jets have ever had on a roster. Now, let me say prepared is the wrong word because I don't know. I can't, you know, say how prepared they are. But this, on paper, this team, if prepared the right way, is probably one of the most talented Jets teams that's ever been put together on both sides of the football.
Yes, I agree. No doubt.
I mean, I understand that. Now, I watch every Jet game. You watch every Tampa game. I don't know. You don't really watch the Jets as closely as I do, but there's a lot of games in the last 2 years where my feelings on Zach Wilson, how I think he's just not, he'll be out of football in a couple of years. But I think that there's a lot of games in a lot of situations that if you had Aaron Rodgers there, or even just a quarterback that was smarter to make a better play, even Tyrod Taylor probably in the last 2 years would have been a difference maker from 5 to 7 football games, because you just have to get the football to some of these playmakers on the Jets offense. You just have to get it to them. And Zach Wilson just wasn't getting the football. Now, Aaron Rodgers, if he's smart, he's throwing steaks at these big offensive linemen. He's feeding them. He's pumping them up. These guys are going to protect Aaron Rodgers with their lives. Now, if you give Aaron Rodgers a future Hall of Famer, Super Bowl MVP, Super Bowl quarterback, you give him more than 5 seconds to throw a football, you're going to tell me that Mike Williams and Garrett Wilson aren't going to get open? You're going to tell me that Breece Hall isn't going to bust something open? You give him more than 5 seconds to prepare a play, the Jets are going to be lethal on offense this year if everything goes correctly.
Yeah, no doubt, Rich. And yeah, everyone stays healthy too, right? But yeah, I mean, the NFL vested in the Jets this year with the 6 primetime games. So I think the NFL wants the Jets to win too, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, they do. But you know what, though? I mean, that doesn't really matter to me, the primetime games, because I really don't like. I'd rather see the Jets on Sunday at 4:00 every week. Sunday, just give me 4:00, because the primetime games, they're late. I get up early for work. So it sounds like old guy problems, but it's like I don't want to stay up till midnight to watch a fucking football game. You know what I mean? So it's, I don't know. I got to get I got my son coming in at midnight saying, "Oh, the Jets won." Well, God forbid, they play a really good football game and they lose in the fourth quarter. And now you're like, now I got to get up at 4:00 in the morning to go to work. So I don't like the whole primetime shit. Give me a 4:00 Jet football game, even a 1:00. Give me a Sunday Jets football game every week, and I'll be happy.
Yeah, and they have 4 home games for prime time as well. So if you're a season ticket holder, you're gonna have to call the boss and say you're not coming in on 4 days, because they're brutal to go to those games, the night games and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
at least if you're watching at least if you're watching at home, Rich, it's just a couple of steps to bed, basically. No traffic or anything. But you and I both, my alarm goes up at 4 o'clock, 4:15. Yours probably does the same. So
I'm up before the. You know what, Eric? I don't know about you, dude. I'm up before my alarm clock now, even on a Sunday. Listen, that's just my life now. I enjoy it. I like the morning. Like tomorrow morning, Saturday, I'm gonna do this podcast tonight. We're gonna get it out there. We're gonna get it on Spotify. This is gonna be the Eric. We got to start. I'm getting a lot of people, even seeing people in the funerals lately and stuff like that. I know it's a bad place to talk about that shit, but a lot of people really do listen to our podcast, bro, and they say we do a really good job. We have to get we got to lock down some kind of consistency with a time frame, because people are watching and people are listening, and I got to get it back out there on Spotify. You know what I mean? So I don't know, man. Like I said, we got to start locking down these times, because we do a good job, dude.
Yeah, and I just want to give a shout out to your Uncle Mike, who came up to me at the Wake, Rich, and asked me why I don't like soccer.
Yeah, I got to plug my computer in. Sorry, like I said.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, I was kind of amused, about the soccer, and I did tell him. I think it was the World Cup in 1994. So EDUBBS has been to soccer games.
You know what I did tell him, though, which I do appreciate? Sorry, guys. You know what I did tell him, which I do appreciate, and I really do. I know that he listens, because he when he hears something that he doesn't like, he'll tell me. He's like, hey, what's wrong with soccer? Or he's telling me about the whole Caitlin Clark thing I did. I'm trying to, and a lot of my uncles want to listen too. It's like they just don't know where to find me. It's like I got a lot of family. You got a lot of friends. We got a lot of friends and stuff. We got to keep this going, dude. Ernie was our biggest fan, bro. He would never come on.
Even on the I miss it so much, Rich. On our Facebook site, he was posting all the time. Wasn't the biggest LeBron James fan in the world, right?
No. Nope. But that's fine. That's a lot of stuff we talked about. But
and another thing, he used to comment on my food post too. He loved Cash's Deli, all the time. When I post pastrami, he said how much he loved that and stuff. But it's a big loss for the MURF and EDUBBS community as well, So
yeah, absolutely.
Yep. He actually gave Ben the name. He named Ben the Big Bambino too. He from Little League and stuff like that. I'll never forget that either. So yeah, you just remember things, Rich, and stuff. But yeah, so like I said, Uncle Mike, thanks for listening, and a big shout out to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you like to talk about it? Yes.
Yeah, we haven't spoken. When was the last time we did a show? I don't remember. The beginning of the season, whatever. But I took my annual baseball trip, and it's funny because I was watching the Mets and Cubs game today, and we were in Wrigley Field a couple of weeks ago. What a stadium that is, Rich! Amazing. So
Yeah.
I'll just give a couple of stories. We went to Cincinnati, so we landed in Kentucky. The airport's like 20 minutes from Cincinnati. Checked into the hotel. We had a nice Audi they gave us at the rental car place. It's
Nice.
funny because I was able. The guy tells me it's the counter. He goes, "You can go in the parking lot and pick out any car." So I go to the BMW, and the guy goes, "No, you can't take that one." What do you mean I can't take that one? He was an old Kentucky guy. You could tell he was a really redneck and stuff. And this woman walked by wearing a business outfit, and he's like, "Wow, she comes to tears once a month." And boy, oh boy. But I'm like, tell the guy, I say, "Can I have my car already?" So he didn't know what was going on. I took the Audi and stuff, so we're driving. We check into the hotel. Decide to go over to Cincinnati. We're driving over the bridge, and then Ben tells me, "Hey, Dad, there's football players practicing." I said, "What?" "Yeah, so you can see them from the bridge." So we made a nice little turn to Paycor Stadium, and we got to meet all the Bengals. I have a picture with Evan McPherson, the kicker. I have a picture of Joe Burrow. He wouldn't take pictures with us for some reason. I don't know why. We didn't have anything to get autographed, but it was just pretty cool seeing the Bengals come out from their practice and stuff. You don't really see that, but it's all about timing. If we weren't there at that time, we would have never seen anything. But Cincinnati Reds, great stadium. I loved it there. I just wish the staff would be more knowledgeable at the end of the game. I said, "Where do we catch the bus back to Kentucky?" And nobody can answer our request. It was the Reds customer service booth. It was the police officers in Cincinnati. Nobody. So I said, "Screw it. We'll just get an Uber." And the Uber driver gave us the whole tour of going back about the bridges in Cincinnati and stuff like that. So then it was on to Chicago. We made a stop in Indianapolis. So where the Colts play over there, they were putting swimming pools in for the Olympic trials. So that's pretty cool. How the stadium where they play football in is now the Olympic trials swim. They put pools actually where the Colts play. It's amazing. So we did that. Then we went to Chicago. I was so excited to go to Chicago. I forgot to look at my gas gauge. Almost ran out of gas. Pulled into a gas station. Guess how much I paid for gas in Chicago for a gallon of regular, Rich? Guess how much I paid? $4.69. $4.69. Yeah, crazy, unreal. But Wrigley Field, amazing. You have to go there. So what they do, Rich, we took a tour, and I saw it on the Mets game today. What they do in the bleachers is they make a snake of beer cups. So after you finish your beer cup, you hand it to a guy, and this thing goes from like the first row to the last row in the bleachers. It's just a snake they make of beer cups. Pretty cool, right?
Nice.
Also, we stood on the field. Wrigley Field is the only living professional stadium in the country where Jackie Robinson played, believe it or not. Now, the tour guide told us that Lou Gehrig and Babe Ruth, but he's wrong because Lou Gehrig and Babe Ruth played in Fenway Park as well. Jackie Robinson did not. But it was a great tour. Then we went to the White Sox game the next night. Shitty part of town. We took the train down subway to the White Sox game, and guys are like lighting up on the train, smoking joints, cigarettes, anything you want. And people said that's what happens in New York. I said, not really, because there's cops around. We didn't see one cop on the train. Went to the White Sox game, so depressing. Get out of the game, and I told them we're not taking the subway back to the hotel. We're taking the Uber. So we took an Uber back to the hotel. The next day we went to Detroit, and we went to the Comerica Park and saw the Tigers play. So it was a nice little trip, 4 games in 4 nights, a lot of driving, but it was fun. It was fun to say.
All right. What was your favorite?
Oh, no doubt Wrigley Field. It's just so much history, Rich. And of course, my son tells to they were playing the Braves that night. My son tells to one of the Braves players he hates the Mets and he hates the Phillies. And one of the Braves players throws him a baseball. I said, "You liar! You hate the Mets." So he told us he sold out to the devil, Rich, on that basically. So
Wow.
But if you ever go Chicago, you got to go to Wrigley Field. It's right in the neighborhood of the stadium.
Yeah.
And it is what it is, basically. The food sucks, but it is what it is. The old ivy, the brick walls and stuff. They have a lot of enhancements they put on through the years and stuff like that. But just a great place to go to. So
now,
yeah.
do they have something across the street from there, like those apartment buildings? Can you like go up to the roof, or like they sell tickets to the roof of the apartment?
I'll tell you about the rooftop seats. Yeah. So I had a question for the tour guide about the rooftop seats because you remember in 2020 nobody was allowed to attend the baseball game because of COVID. So I asked the gentleman, I said, "What about the rooftop seats?" And he said, "Yeah, people were allowed in the rooftop seats." So those are the only people that got to see live baseball in 2020. The people that sat on the rooftop seats in Wrigley Field. It's really cool, Rich. They give you like a bunch of food and stuff. You pay like $150 for a ticket, but you get like a buffet, all you could eat, all you could drink, and that's alcohol beverages. You're not in the stadium, of course, but there's one rooftop seat. It was 460 feet away, and toward Glen Allen Hill, hit a home run 460 feet away. But if you go outside Wrigley Field, you'll see where Dave Kingman hit a home run. So Dave Kingman hit a home run 3 houses down from where Wrigley Field is. So I was standing there with Ben, and you can only imagine, and Sammy Sosa did it too. You can only imagine somebody hitting a home run that far. I just can't fathom it. I can't believe it.
Well, that's why I became a Mets fan, because Dave Kingman hit a home run so far in Queens in 1976, and I thought it broke my window in Flushing.
Well, that's what happened. It landed on a woman's porch.
Dave Kingman.
Yeah, huh? The ball lands on the woman's porch. She's watching the TV. Of course, it's delayed, a couple of seconds delayed. She goes outside and grabs the ball. It's like, can you imagine you're watching a baseball game and all of a sudden a ball comes on your porch? Amazing.
That's good. That would be kind of cool, right?
Of course, the wind had to aid that, Rich. I mean, nobody hit a baseball that far without wind, basically. It's crazy. But
they were saying today, talking about home runs in Wrigley Field. Like I was under the impression always that Wrigley Field was like the smallest ballpark, in the country or whatever. But it's really it's 400 to send 355 and 354 or something like that. But they were saying today that out of all the home runs that were ever hit in Wrigley Field, they said Buck Showalter said that the most impressive home run that he ever saw was one of the first home runs that Francisco Alvarez hit. Francisco Alvarez, one of his first home runs in the majors, he hit a home run to dead center in Wrigley Field with the wind blowing in at like 15 to 20 miles an hour, blowing in, and he rocked a home run dead center. That's the most impressive home run he said he's ever seen.
Yeah, he hit another one today, actually.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I want to get to the Mets in a couple of seconds and stuff.
Yeah, we will.
But yeah, no, definitely a good trip. We did it fast this year because I didn't know what Ben's plans were. But next year, maybe back to the West Coast. We'll see what happens. But we got 10 left to go. I got 10. He's got 11.
Wow.
And I plan to go to Washington this summer, just in and out for a day, so I can get that. And Ben's got it in with the John Jay trip a couple of years ago. They went to the Nationals game. But actually, Ben's been to every stadium in the Eastern Time Zone now. He's knocked off all of them. So great accomplishment to him. He did it before me. You believe that, Rich?
I think that's awesome that you guys do that tradition thing. That's really fucking cool, man. Like I really want to start doing that. With I'm going up to Boston in a couple of weeks. Gonna go see a Red Sox game.
Cool.
And we really got to start this whole. Like my kids are getting older now, which is good. They can travel better, and stuff. So, my wife doesn't want to go to all these cities. I would love to do the Chicago, Milwaukee, like Cincinnati. There's a whole bunch of places I'd like to go. But I think we're going to start off. I'd like to go down to Philly too, because I saw my cousin Freddie, obviously last weekend. My cousin Freddie moved down to. He's been living down in South Jersey, so he's basically a Philly guy. But I said to him the other day, because he was a diehard Met fan. His dad's a diehard Met fan, and he was been diehard Met fan ever since he was a little kid. And I haven't spoke baseball with him for a long time. And I guess he pops in on the podcast here and there. And can you believe that he became a Philadelphia Phillies fan?
Wow.
I don't understand how that's even possible. Now, that's a question I could throw out there to people listening right now, is if you followed a team your whole life, which is fine, you could switch teams, but it's kind of like, if you're a Giant fan and you move to, Texas, do you become a Cowboy fan? I don't understand if you can go, to another team, but you really the Phillies? I don't know. I gotta talk to my cousin Freddie about this.
How do you feel about this though, Rich? My dad was a Brooklyn Dodger fan.
Right.
So the whole story about the Brooklyn Dodgers. They leave to go to Los Angeles, of course, and who does he root for? He became a Yankee fan. The Yankees, once the Giants left, the Yankees were the only team until the Mets came aboard in '62. So he became a Yankee fan, and that's how I became a Yankee fan. And then
but that's all right though, because those teams left. That's okay.
Right.
He left.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly. Oh, he did. Yes, that's right. He left. That's right.
Well, he lives there. He's got a beautiful home down in South Jersey. It's awesome. He was telling me all about all the coaching stuff that I've been going through through the years. It's he's telling me he coaches his sons in baseball, and he's at that point now where I was at. It's like it's really like his older son is getting it's a lot more competitive, and he's been coaching, and it's awesome because I seen a lot of my cousins. It's we have a really close knit group of cousins, and it's on mine. I don't see everybody as much as I would like to, as much as I should, but I'm gonna start making it a point of that. But they're all their kids are into it. My cousin Thomas, his son plays hockey, and his daughter plays soccer. My cousin Michael, his kids they play everything. his
Mm-hmm.
his
Mm-hmm.
daughter went for an interview at Fairleigh Dickinson University to play soccer. It's like, and all his kids, I couldn't even tell you like what they're good at because they're good at everything. It's like I always see them playing football, baseball, soccer, basketball. It's like all these kids, and it's like I look at my cousins, and I'm like, he's got them all involved in these sports and their coaching. It's like it's so cool, man, to see all that. It's like all these good, all my cousins, like they're all great dads, man. It's like it's really
Yeah,
good to see.
we were talking about that being a great dad and stuff, and
Yeah.
yeah, no, you got them started, Rich, with all the sports, so they all follow in your footsteps, all your cousins, right?
It's funny, like, when you say, like, I missed out on, like, a lot of, like, family parties and stuff like that.
Yep.
It's like, it's funny. Like, I used to walk around with a shirt, like, we go to these tournaments, and I used to walk around with a shirt. It said, literally just said, I can't, my son has baseball. I literally said that for 10 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now it's
no.
like to hear them say our vacations or travel baseball games. It's kind of cool, man, to, like, to hear somebody else going through it and, like, realize, like, like how important it is, to keep them involved.
Like I did, I made it a point never to miss one of Ben's baseball games. All the lying I had to do at work, all the lying I had to do at work. I have a doctor's appointment. I have this, I have that. Just to get home for his baseball games, and it worked over the years and stuff. So if I was Pinocchio, my nose would be about 12 feet with all the lying I had to do to get to Ben's games and stuff. But that's what we do, Rich. And like I said, it's not. We always say it's not there forever. So someday if you look back and you never went to one of your sons or daughters' events and stuff, you'll say, "Wow, where did time go?" Because some people put the job in first, Rich. That's what it is. They put their job first, and they think the job cares about them. But God forbid something happens to you. What happens? Somebody sits at your desk or fills in your role the next day. But the family is the most important thing, and that's why I said I was always there for Ben for all his events, whether it be school or sports, and
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
That shit's important, man.
So we took our baseball trip, and yesterday was the first day I went to a game since the trip, and Yankee Stadium yesterday, Rich.
Yes. All right. You know what? We may as well start. Let's start with the Yankees. All right. Let's start with your game yesterday. All right. Let's start with the Yankees. Now, before we start with the Yankees in the game yesterday, I want to, can I, you're going to give me your take on the Mets real quick. I just want to give you a quick little take on the Yankees, and I'm going to let you have the floor for whatever you want to say. I won't interrupt you. Now, my take on the Yankees right now is Aaron Judge got hit on purpose the other day. That's just my take on the Yankees because other teams do that. And I don't know. Aaron Judge got hit the other day. Guy hit his hand. He was out one game. Everybody's like, oh, Aaron Judge is out. Aaron Judge comes in, bang, he hits a home run. Aaron Judge is playing at a worldly level right now. It's just hopefully the kid doesn't get hurt. They need him to stay healthy. Giancarlo Stanton is playing like a superstar. Okay, the guy is playing amazing. Verdugo is he's digging in here and there. The Yankees got a team full of players. They got a whole roster full of players. Garrett Cole is back. This guy, what's his name? This new pitcher here who might win the Cy Young. Listen, he's allowed to have a hiccup. He's a young kid. Maybe he's at an innings max. I don't know what's going on with him. But the Yankees right now are built. They're not built to just make the playoffs. They are built to win a World Series this year. And I'm not saying it's World Series or bust, but looking at that team right now, that is a murderer's row lineup. And I don't care what anybody says. That's a better lineup than the Dodgers lineup because that's a very spotty lineup here and there. So the Yankees right now, I think that they have to wrap their heads around the fact that this kid may not be pitching towards the end of the season. They may have to fill some holes at innings. I don't know how good their relief is because I'm really not looking that closely into it. But I think that the Yankees right now, they're built to win a championship. And I think even if they win a few games, lose a few games here and there, but the Baltimore Orioles are playing good and they have their number. So they have to get over that hump. So my take on the Yankees right now is World Series or bust. And I think that they gonna have to get by the Baltimore Orioles to do anything. So what do you think about that?
Yeah, the Yankees, the baseball season is a marathon, Rich, as we know. It's 162 games. The Yankees got up to a great start, and we've seen that before. And then came the Red Sox series last weekend in Fenway. Yankees, they won the first game, whatever, and then the last two they blew. I think they were exposed, the Yankees. There were some holes definitely in the way they played. Trevino was the catcher. They were stealing on him at will basically last Sunday night.
That was insane, dude. The Red Sox stole 9 times on them. I mean, I know it's a different game right now, but yo, that's got to stop 9 times.
Yeah, that was crazy. I never seen that. I've seen it in the minor leagues, Rich, but I never seen it in the major leagues and stuff. It was embarrassing. The Saturday game was embarrassing. They got off to the 3-0 lead. Yankees come back in the second, and then all hell breaks loose. 8-4 win for the Red Sox, and then Father's Day. You're hoping to see a good game, and it's a blowout once again with the with the Red Sox with the stolen bases and stuff. But the Yankee pitching was doing really good, but all of a sudden they hit the bump in the road. And yesterday with Luis Gil, like we said, you said he's entitled to have a bad start. He gave up 7 runs. He was out of the game within a half hour. People weren't even in their seats yet, and he was in the showers. But the Red Sox, they won. The Red Sox took 2 out of 3 from them. And then the Orioles series, the Yankees had to win 2 out of 3. Yankees win the first game, and then the last 2 were pretty sad. Although on Wednesday night they actually came back. They could have just laid down and died on Wednesday night. They had 1 run, but they came back, went into extra innings. Once again, Trevino throws the ball into the outfield. And it's just those days where I hate the ghost runner because of that. Because you put that guy in second base, and it's kind of like an automatic run basically. So, and then comes yesterday, Rich. Yesterday might have distanced the Orioles from the Yankees. I'll tell you why. The Orioles lineup 1 through 9. All those guys were hitting yesterday. Basically, it didn't matter.
Yeah.
They went through the lineup. They were going through the lineup their 7th time, Rich. Yesterday, they did 6 complete. They were starting their 7th time through the lineup in the 9th inning. So it was just like take all prisoners yesterday. Yankees didn't have a chance. The Yankee lineup, the first top 3, Volpe, Soto, Judge, you could say is better than Mookie Betts, Ohtani, and Freeman. Of course, Betts is out right now. I think the Yankees got the top 3, and this top 3 was carrying them through the season. But remember when Volpe was batting 7th, they moved him up to the first. I was like a little skeptical about that, but the 1, 2, 3s. Now the problem with that is you got Stanton's hitting. We were talking about cutting Stanton loose, but I don't think you can cut Stanton loose right now because that guy makes contact, and that ball is going to leave the yard, no problem at all. His exit
I would
velocity.
love to have him on the Mets, dude.
Oh, yeah, you know what? And they were talking about that, trading Stanton to the Mets, but I don't know. I kind of like where he is, but after that, Rich, I mean, like tonight, Verdugo's not in the lineup tonight. It's against Chris Sale. The Yankees are losing 8-1. I'll talk about tonight's game in a minute, but the rest of the team, the fielding's gone to Gleyber Torres. Let me talk about that. Gleyber Torres is making errors like crazy. It's a free agent year for him, Rich. Usually in a free agent year, you don't see players play like this. He's having an awful season.
No, he's what's bad about him is he obviously he'll have a flash where there'll be 3 weeks out of the season where he'll hit like all of his home runs and all of his RBIs. But I think that he's outworn his welcome with the Yankees. A, and I think B, I don't think anybody really is going to want to trade for him either. Maybe he needs a change of scenery or something, or maybe he just can't take the Yankee spotlight. Maybe he just can't take the Yankee spotlight, dude, because he looks like a player that you're supposed to be this, but he hasn't even come close to what he was supposed to be.
Yeah, no. I mean, they were expecting him to be a superstar, and he did show signs of superstar in the past. He did make the All-Star game a couple of times. He was there at the All-Star game, but whatchamacallit, Nasty Nestor Cortez was at the All-Star game too, and look at him this year. Although he did pitch pretty good against the Orioles the other night. But getting back to the offense, Rich. I mean, you got DJ LeMahieu. He's not hitting. I know we spoke years ago. You said you loved DJ LeMahieu. I think it's about time to hang it up. Rizzo got hurt yesterday. He wasn't hitting. You got this kid at first base now, Ben Rice, but I heard they want to trade for Carl Goldschmidt. That was the latest rumor today, that the Yankees were trading for Goldschmidt. I don't know what Goldschmidt brings to the table at his age, Rich. I mean, he's two years out from being the MVP, but definitely some regression in his career right now. So I don't know about Goldschmidt.
I think so. And let's see if Goldschmidt. Let's just say this happens. Does Goldschmidt go to first base?
Yeah, he'd be the first base because Rizzo's going to be out about 8 weeks. And the Yankees don't really have a solid first baseman. I mean, you put LeMahieu at first base. You could put Cabrera at first base. Maybe Jason Dominguez could be at first base, but
So
Dominguez got hurt again. He's on the IL now, so he's out.
Dominguez is a center fielder, right?
Yeah, but I was hoping they would work him out at first base. Maybe he could play first base because, you got Verdugo out there. Rich Verdugo's not going anywhere. He's been pretty good.
Why, if this all right, this guy Dominguez is supposed to be the real deal, correct?
Yeah.
You saw flashes of him last year. I mean, that's just he was in and out. Bang.
Yeah, hit a home run this first at bat. Hit a home run. Yeah.
Now, is he that good where you kind of push forward and say, you know what, Aaron, why don't you step over to first base so you don't hurt yourself?
Well,
and have this kid Comm be the center fielder, have Aaron Judge play first base, Juan Soto. Well, Juan Soto might not be wearing a Yankee uniform next year, but they have one. And then you have Juan Soto, you got Verdugo. I guess you got to figure out other outfield. But why don't you start having Aaron Judge take picks at first base? The guy's 9 feet tall. He won't get hurt.
Well, yeah, that's a good idea, Richard. Also, Spencer Jones in the minor league. So Spencer Jones is like one of the biggest prospects in the Yankees minors. And he's the same size as Judge in height, not the same size in body mass and stuff. But him too, he could get trained at first base. I mean, first base isn't a bad position to learn how to play, Rich. Anybody can play first base, basically,
Yeah, but you know what though? Yeah, I don't know if anybody can play first base. That's a tough position to play because what if you have fielders that are You know what I mean? What if you don't have Francisco Lindor throwing you the ball from shortstop all the time? What if you don't have, it's kind of, I mean, first base on the outside looking in, it looks kind of easy, but I mean, it's, when you got to stretch and you got to make those plays, it's like, I mean, you got to be somewhat of an athlete and catch the ball. It's not something you can pick up overnight. I mean, I guess, just being a big guy, maybe, it might be a hard position for Judge to learn because he is a big guy and it's a further range of motion for catching the baseball. But I don't know. I don't think you just plug anybody in at first base there.
Remember Big Papi in the World Series? Remember when the pitchers used to hit? But when Big Papi was playing in the National League Park, he was playing first base. The only time he wore a glove every year, basically. And he got the job done. But yeah, you know what? You know what caught my eye though, Rich? Vladimir Guerrero Jr. So Vladimir Guerrero Jr. said he would never play for the Yankees, right? So the Yankees are 25 games over 500. They got a good chance to get a ring right now. Even though they're 25 games over 500, people are jumping off the bridge saying the season's over. But what do you think the Yankees trade for Vladimir Guerrero? It'll probably never happen because he plays in the same division, and Toronto would want a lot back in return. But if you're Vladimir Guerrero and hey, you want to go play with the Yankees, what would you do?
I guess what is he? I guess he's worn out his welcome in Toronto.
Well, I think Toronto. The Blue Jays are a very hard team to follow over the past couple of years, and I think they finally realized where they have to. I think the Blue Jays have to do a reset basically, and I think Guerrero might be a free agent next year, so they better get something for him than to lose him. But Guerrero always said bad things about New York, so I don't know why he doesn't like New York. He said he would never stay, but wouldn't it be ironic if he's playing first base for the Yankees in July?
What if Vladimir Guerrero becomes the first player to sign when the Montreal Expos come back?
Exactly.
You always hear shit like that, right? You always hear everybody wants the Expos back. I don't even know why they left. How about that? How about somebody brings the Montreal Expos back and the first player to sign is Vladimir Guerrero? What about that? That would be something else, right?
Yeah. So I quick story. I was a newlywed. We were married 1 year, and Jody and I just had to take a trip up to Montreal. I went to see an Expos game before they moved to Washington. Rich, it was like being in a morgue, basically, that stadium. It was dark. you parked in like the parking lot. There's like nobody in the parking lot. I would say, "This is where you park for the game?" They said, "Yeah." It was a Saturday afternoon, 1 o'clock game. Guess how many people were there? Like 4,000 people. They're speaking French. You don't even know what's going on. America's pastime, and they're speaking French and stuff like that, And then they have this thing, French fries with poutine on it. I don't even know what that is. Some kind of cheese or something like that. So, really weird. But you know what? The fans want him back. I mean, we've seen cities lose teams to get him back. I mean, the Expos got the raw end of the deal. The strike did them in '94. Once the strike happened, they had to trade all their. They were destined to play the Yankees in the World Series that year before the strike happened. But getting back to the Yankees, I think the Yankees have some holes to fill. The bullpen's been going south lately. I said a couple of weeks ago, the bullpen's not that strikeout dominant. They pitch to hitting, and even Clay Holmes now has given up some big hits and stuff, so he's not striking people out. And I think they're saying, well, he hasn't pitched in days, so maybe they got to get him some more work. I don't know what's going on, but now the starting pitching's failing. I mean, Rodon tonight, the first two pitches, first pitch to Jared Kelenic, there's a name you know. A double,
Right.
second pitch, I forget who was up second, home run. So 2 pitches into the game, it's 2-0 already. And right now the game's 8-1. The fans booed Rodon off the field. We know what happened last year to Rodon. So, I don't know what this warm, fuzzy feeling is, 25 games up. The Yankees were dominant the first half of the season. But they're gonna limp to this All-Star break, Rich, and they can't have the Orioles get too far ahead of them. The Orioles seem like the real deal.
The Orioles batting order is from top to bottom.
Yep.
There's no hold. They're the perfect model of what a baseball team should be at this moment. The Baltimore Orioles, because they laid back, they're okay. They laid back, they're coming. They're laid back, they're coming. You know what? They're here now. These kids are all 23, 24, 25 years old. They have no feelings. They just throw everything out there. They don't give a shit what people are saying about them. Baltimore is just happy that they have a baseball team of relevance right now. And I think that Yankees really better watch themselves, because this team is fucking hungry, man. This Adley Rushman kid? Come on, man. What is Gunnar Henderson? I mean, I'm just trying to name these kids off the top of my head. A layman's term, if you talk to somebody who really doesn't watch baseball that much, who says, maybe they watch a Yankee game here and there, you wouldn't know any of these players. Am I right or wrong? We know them because we're baseball fans. Big baseball fans would, but the layman's term baseball fan is not going to know these guys. And these guys are running roughshod over the fucking major leagues, dude.
Yeah, well, losing 100 games every year get you some good players, and it's all about drafting too. I mean, Gunnar Henderson, Ashley Rutschman, they got Mountcastle,
Mountcastle.
Yeah, Mullins, Mateo.
I love Cedric Mullins. So Cedric Mullins is another guy. Cedric Mullins, that kid, he runs around, he throws his body out there. He's a really good player, that kid too. And they're all just young guys full of piss and vinegar that just want to piss people off and play baseball. And I think that's why they're going to be an adversary for the Yankees, because I think that the Yankees, I don't know if they know how to handle that kind of persona on the baseball field. I don't give a fuck if we win or lose. We're just going to play hard.
Yeah, well, the Yankees have to play them again in Baltimore right before the All-Star break that weekend.
Yeah.
So, and then they won't see them till the end of September. So you got to win some of these games now. But, the Orioles haven't lost a series against the AL East since 2022, I think, or something like that.
Don't the Baltimore Orioles have some crazy record against the Yankees? Like,
well, it's a streak.
Go ahead.
It's that streak where they haven't lost a series, the Orioles, to an AL East team since about a year, or maybe more than that. I think it's like 22 straight series they haven't lost.
I thought it was specific to the Yankees. Like they always beat the Yankees, always beat them, or vice versa. I don't remember.
The Yankees used to, back when the Orioles were losing 100 games. Yeah, the Yankees are feasting on them. Gleyber Torres was hitting home runs. Remember Gleyber Torres hit like 10 home runs against the Orioles in one season? Crazy, right?
Right. What's crazy to me is, like, you look at this lineup that the Yankees have right now. They got was it Volpe, Soto, and Aaron Judge. These three guys. Yep. These guys are tough. Well, Volpe's just become what he is, but they got Soto and Judge back to back. Now, why is it that you got these two monsters, right? And you got these other like role players. Like, why is it that these Yankees were kicking ass for the long, and all of a sudden, like, I guess, do all these players get tired at once? Does what happens to a baseball team? Like, they go into a funk. Like, Soto had that funk. Everybody was going crazy because they thought he was going to be injured for a long period of time. But he muddled through and he played the command. So if Judge and Soto are both on point and swinging the bat, they're good for like 6 home runs a game if you really want to break it down. So pitching is going to be a big issue for the Yankees if they cannot get that pitching right, because you could come in there and let's just assume that everybody's healthy. The Yankees could go in there and score 10 to 12 runs every single night, assuming everybody's healthy, but you can't assume that. But they are going to have to pitch, because if they don't pitch to keep up with the fact that they're scoring runs, there's going to be a big problem, because you're going to lose 12-10, you're going to lose 9-7. It's going to almost be like, they're going to put up runs, but they have to pitch, because other teams are definitely going to be putting up runs too.
Well, don't forget the Yankees. Yeah, the Yankees are 25 games over, and their Cy Young Award winner, Garrett Cole, just came back. Pitched the one game the other night, pitches against the Mets on Tuesday. So getting Cole back.
What did you think about his performance? What did you think about his first?
Yeah, he looked good. I think they had a short leash on him. They took him out too fast, but the Yankees actually came back in that game, but lost in extra innings. But I thought he pitched well. I was watching his minor league performances, but you can't really gauge about a minor league performance, So, but I think he's pitching well, Rich. And like I said, he pitches Tuesday against the Mets. It was lined up to be Soriano on Tuesday, but Soriano's pitching Sunday against the Cubs. So, but getting called back, that's good. And losing Clark Schmidt. Clark Schmidt was playing well, so he's out now. So, Nestor Cortez pitched good, but he can only pitch at home. He's not pitching good on the road. The pitching definitely a problem.
I always laugh when I hear Clark Schmidt's name because he always sounds like he's in the witness protection program. I don't think that's his real name.
Well, his name's not Cy Young, that's for sure. Not yet, at least. But
no.
But he's pretty good. Oh, he pitched last year and stuff. So I think it's a better Yankees team than last year. Rich, though, getting Soto on the team improves everything. But don't forget, Soto carried the team through April. Judge took the baton in May, basically, and baseball, you have slumps. You can't be hitting all the time in baseball. You can't go 6 months on a tear. Nobody did that. George Brett might have done it, but the guys that hit 400 in the past. But yeah, right. It's kind of hard to keep it going a full season.
Now, what's your take this year, like on Soto? Like, obviously Soto's here, and you don't know what he's going to do next year. You don't know if he's a money guy. You don't know if he's a baseball guy, player guy. Like, what's your take on him? Like, if it's, let's just say the Yankees losing the World Series to the Dodgers this year. I don't want that to happen, but let's say Dodgers beat them in the World Series this year. What does Juan Soto do?
It's hard to gauge, Rich, because I know the fans love the guy. The bleacher creatures, the right field, they call him out every inning. They call his name and stuff. And I'm hoping that Soto takes tradition over money. But these guys, they love the money, Rich. And this could be this could be an Ohtani type contract. I mean, Ohtani's will never be passed because Ohtani pitches and stuff. But it's going to be up there. It's going to be a lot of money due this guy.
I think like you just said something about the contract being like, would you say like, I think those kind of contracts lose their luster, I think, because I don't think that they really care too much about being like legacy players anymore for their teams or anything, because players bounce around so much. I think that you really have that kind of player involvement when you're like Derek Jeter, like who's the same team, or, any of these guys that stick with the team. Like if you go 14 years and you're on that same team and you're going to the Hall of Fame, it's like, but if you like Juan Soto, if Juan Soto has 4 years of like ridiculous baseball, is he the greatest Yankee of all time?
No, of course not.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think a lot of that stuff kind of loses its luster, like, as you get on and like in sports, because of the fact that these players in the age of free agency, where players bounce around so much, I don't think they can. So that's why I think Juan Soto, I think that this year, if he doesn't win the World Series with this team, I think he's bouncing, man. And I'm not saying he's going to go to the Mets, which I hope he does, because the Mets are, they're showing that they're building for something. But is he going to go because Cohen gave him all that money? You don't know where his mind is at, but I don't think there's any loyalty really anymore, to baseball's, discredit, I guess, because of the fact, and you don't have to be loyal anymore, I guess, because that's not what sports, I guess, is about anymore. So you get the biggest contract. So I don't think that whole thing. So if they win the World Series or if they lose, I just don't think that Soto is going to stick around. I don't think he's a guy that wants to be part of Yankee tradition, because Yankee tradition is somebody that's been there since day one.
Yeah, would it be ironic, Rich, if he went back to the Nationals? Imagine.
No, I don't think he would do that. You think he would do? No, I don't think he would do that, dude. The Nationals,
I think, you could get Baby Shark going again. Maybe Baby Shark they were playing during the Nationals World Series, but yeah, I don't know. It's going to be a tough call, but I think I think the Yankees, it's World Series or bust this year. I think they have to go all in, basically. I don't think they're going to trade for the polar bear. I think Alonso stays in the Mets now because, we'll speak about that and stuff like that. But there's definitely some holes to fill, and we'll see what happens at the trading deadline. But you hate to see some of these prospects go, like Spencer Jones and Drew Thorpe went in the Soto trade. You don't want to mortgage all your farm away, but I think it's all about winning the World Series. The Yankees haven't won the World Series since 2009, 15 years. It's a big drought for this team,
Yeah, it is. Of course. Yeah, of course it is. Especially, when the fans, act the way they do, like, it's like that they're supposed to win it every year. Like the Yankees are supposed to win, whatever. The Yankees are not supposed to win every year.
Yeah, I blame that on the millennials, though. The millennials, they have the mentality of 162-0 or bust, basically. I was speaking to a guy the other day. The Yankees lost the game. I said, "Hey, you're going to lose them." "What do you mean you're going to lose them?" I said, "Listen, you're bound. You're going to lose 60 games. You're going to win 60 games. That's most baseball teams lose 60. They win 60. It's what you do in those 42 games beyond that what makes you the winner
Yeah,
or
that's a
not.
good point.
Basically,
That's a
yeah,
good
it
point.
is. It is. And he said the person said to me, he goes, I don't understand why you okay with a loss. I said because you can't win every game in baseball, Rich.
Right.
Even
And
right.
you know what, and you know what too. I don't know if you agree with me or not, but I listen. I know it's all good that we could watch the Mets and the Yankees play 2 games a year in each of our stadiums, and I know that it's
Mm-hmm.
good that the Dodgers can play, the Oakland A's or whatever they are. But I'm kind of done with interleague play. I don't, because it doesn't matter, dude. It matters for the wins and losses. That's fine. But wouldn't you rather see the Yankees play a couple more games against the Boston Red Sox or even the Seattle Mariners for that matter, instead of going to Philly or going to Atlanta or Atlanta coming here? Wouldn't you rather see the bulk of the games being played with teams that you might be fighting for a playoff spot come the end of the season, or that you might be like, I don't give a shit about the Mets and Yankees anymore? It's good to talk shit, with your buddies and everything, but at the end of the day, that win against the Yankees is not going to help me in a tiebreaker at the end of the year with the Milwaukee Brewers or the St. Louis Cardinals. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of this NBA, NHL type schedule where they play each other. Every team plays each other through the season and stuff like that. I wish it went back to the
But you
old
know
way
what
where it
though?
wasn't.
But I'm sorry to cut you off there. But you know what though? They matter though in hockey because the Rangers, Islanders, and Devils are all in the same division,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and it all matters. The point they're making is like interdivisional play in baseball matters for wins and losses, but it doesn't matter for shit come to the end of the year. Like hockey, it matters all the time because you're in that division. You're trying to score more points than the guys in your division. But
Right.
like even basketball, the Knicks and the Nets, they're in the same division. But baseball is a different element because you're in completely different leagues. And there's a possibility that you may meet in the World Series. That would be awesome. But the fact that you play each other 4 times a year and you split, if you really
Mm-hmm.
split, that really means nothing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I liked it the old way, Rich, where the National League played the National League and the American League played the American League, and then
Right.
they don't see each other, these teams, until the World Series, the American and the National League team. So
Right.
that's the point I was getting at, Rich, because in the NHL, all the teams play each other. The Rangers play the LA Kings, the Rangers play the Ducks. NBA, the Knicks play the Kings, Sacramento, the Knicks play the Clippers. So but in baseball, that's the way they made it now, where every team has to play each other during the year, basically. And it's getting to the point where I'd rather see the Yankees play. They took away a series. They took away a Red Sox home and away series because of this. They took away an Orioles home and away series, a Blue Jays home and away series. I mean, and for you guys too, they took away a Phillies series home and away.
Yeah.
They took away, a Braves series home and away. Those.
I want to play the Braves.
Division.
I want to play the Phillies and Braves 12 more games this year.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Exactly. Even the American League teams, Rich. I want to see the Mariners come twice to New York. I want to see the Yankees go to Seattle twice. Right. I mean, the Astros. The Yankees played the Astros in April, 3-3, and that was it. They're not seeing the Astros till next year now, basically, once they play in the playoffs. So they were done with the Astros in April, basically, or early May, right? It doesn't make any sense. The Yankees don't play the Pittsburgh Pirates till the last 3 games of the season. Like, who cares when they play the Pirates? Those last 3 games,
the Pirates, the last 3 games of the season are against the Pirates. That's so stupid. I'm so glad you agree with it. That is so stupid, dude. Those last 3 games of the season, you don't know where people are going to be. You don't know who's going to have a good team, but throw a caution to the wind and say those last 3 games are in Boston.
Right. Or Baltimore,
It's so stupid.
Or
Toronto or Kansas City. Have had Kansas City just throw caution to the wind of those last 3 games being Minnesota.
Yeah, it used to be like the pennant race. We'd see the seasons come down to the last games of the season and stuff, I mean, the Yankees play the Orioles that week. They play the Orioles Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, which is fine. They're playing the Orioles at home. But then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday against the Pirates. I mean,
it's so stupid. It really
right?
Is.
Exactly. And the Orioles play the Twins the last series of the season, 3 games in Minnesota. So, it's not even like you used to see the East play the East and they would knock each other off in September. That's how the pennant races were won. Now you really don't see any divisional games in September anymore. That's the way to make the schedule, Rich. Yep.
Yeah.
Crazy. But, I mean, you're going to play the Orioles. The Yankees played the Orioles twice. They're going to play them one more time before the All-Star break. That's 3 out of the 4 series before the All-Star break. And they don't see him again until the last week of the season. Doesn't make any sense.
It really is. It really is silly, dude. I mean, they really need to do something different. But you know what, though? It's not going to change for a while because it's all about, it's all about money in these cities. You think that you think Pittsburgh is not going to sell out those 3 games because the Yankees are going to be there?
They're here. They're in Yankee Stadium. They're in Yankee Stadium.
Oh, they're in Yankee Stadium,
Yeah,
or whatever,
yeah, yeah.
or any, you know what I mean? Like, you're going to sell tickets. You know what I mean? Like, Pittsburgh fans. Josh is a Pittsburgh Pirates fan.
Right.
You know, why would he not want to go to Yankee Stadium to see the Pittsburgh Pirates? You know what I mean?
Yeah, but is he gonna want to go to see the Pirates, or is he gonna want to be at home watching the Steelers on that Sunday? You know?
That's true. That's true.
Right?
Yeah, it's kind of
Right?
dumb. Yeah,
It is dumb.
I don't like it one bit.
It is,
No.
you know, and you know, the extra team in the wild card. I mean, look at the National League right now, Rich. We'll talk about the Mets in a bit, but in the National League team, the wild card. I mean, it's exciting in a way because I think every team's still, you know, alive come June. We're headed to July soon, but yeah, it's just so watered down baseball now. It's kind of like, who cares about the season, where the season used to matter. Now it's just like getting to the playoffs basically. And you see it. You have elite teams and you have teams that suck. There's like no middleman this year in baseball. It's crazy, you know. It's just unbelievable. But you know, in summary, I think the Yankees have some work to do. They need to improve on some positions. They need to stay healthy. I heard today a story that some general manager out there, unnamed general manager, said the Yankees ownership didn't even want to re-sign Aaron Judge last year. Can you imagine that? They didn't want to re-sign Aaron Judge.
Yeah, I mean, that's just something that they would have to do. I mean, because somebody was going to give him all that money.
Yeah, you know, but look at the guy, Rich. The guy's an amazing player. I mean, he's definitely a generational player. The way he plays the game, captain of the team. You know what Judge has to do? Judge has to do what the Mets did. Judge has to call these guys in the clubhouse, players only meeting, and work out the kinks. Basically, you know, the Mets did that. You'll get onto that. You know, it wasn't Grimace, right? It wasn't Grimace, right, Rich?
No, no, it wasn't Grimace.
McDonald's made out with the deal. They had a nice little marketing thing. They actually selling jerseys now.
Of course they did. Of course, somebody made money on that, because that's what it's about. It fucking sucks, man. Now, everything's watered down again. I know. I went on some political rant the other day, a life rant, just like in general. Everything all comes down to the mighty dollar. It's like, I was listening to something today about Detroit. About, you know, Detroit was like, you know, back in the day, Detroit was like, you know, booming. Like, you know, it was like one of the most, you know, it was making so much money. It was like everything was money. Everything was being pumped out of Detroit. And all of a sudden it was just sucked dry. People are giving away homes in Detroit. It's like, because somebody decided that they can make some money somewhere else. They pulled all the stuff out and they destroyed a city. And that's what's going on all over the country right now. People are just trying to make more money, and that's fine. But you know what, though? Everybody else along the way, the followers in these coattails, are not making more money. So at the end of the day, you know, people are making more and more and more money. At what point is it going to be too much money where people like us that get stagnant with our paychecks and stagnant with our salaries, that we can't afford to go to these places anymore, or we can't afford to do these things anymore because of the fact that they're raising prices, because people are just wanting to make more money until it boils down to just a couple of people that control everything. And it's crazy, Eric, and it's in everything in life right now.
Yeah, I mean, are you going to go out and buy a $200 Mets Grimace jersey, Rich? City Connect.
Why can't, and you know, I'm going to put this out as like a little short, but why can't everything be made in the USA? Why? Why? Because it costs too much money?
Right.
It costs so much money? How do you justify all this stuff? We all do it. We're all hypocrites. I'm not saying I'm not.
Yep.
Like, so we buy, you know, Chinese shit. We buy, you know, and anybody that says that they only buy American, like that, maybe there are a couple of people out there that still only buy American.
But you can't, though. You can't. You can't buy
really read the labels. Everything's made in fucking China. Everything.
Even if you buy American, Rich, the parts that you bought on what you bought, those are made in China. The parts, right? It's crazy. Yeah.
And that's what it is. And it's sports now. It trickles into sports too. It's just who's gonna make more money. And that's when it happened. Also, when the players became bigger than the managers. The managers making $5 million, the players are making $40 million. It's like, why am I going to listen to this guy this guy's my boss and I make 10 times his salary? I'll just go to my hitting coach. You think the owner's going to fire me? There's no respect level because of the monetary situation. There are very few people, I guess, left that respect the actual game. But at the end of the day, you want to make the most money. But with more money, with most people comes disrespect of, you know, the manager, disrespect of the organization, disrespect of, you're not going to give me this, so I'm going to go somewhere else to get that. And that's where sports, and that's where life, and that's where everything in general has to come to a head and say, what the hell is going on? Where is this all going to stop? We could come to a head and we could come to a conclusion where everybody can make out. But no, it's not going to ever come to that because it's going to be more and more and more and more. And we can't stop it because we got to get up and go to work every day. So we
Yeah, but
can't
Rich,
stop it.
how much is too much? I mean, we're going to see $1 billion
Exactly.
contract soon. We're going to see $1 billion soon. We're close to
How
that.
come how come, again, how come, again, we go on this rant all the time. We go to the games. That's where they get the money. That's where they get the money. How much money is too much money? You know what I mean? It's like how much, like when you think about like, a billion lifetimes to take care of, which is fine. But it's just getting to a point where everything is getting so skewed because of money, and it's life, sports, and everything.
And it's these agents too, Rich. You look at Scott
Yep.
Boros, the guy's, he's trying to rape these teams basically, 600, 700, $800 million contracts. I mean, look what happened this offseason, Rich. The guys that didn't sign, and they didn't sign, Montgomery and Snell. And look, they're not having great seasons because they waited till the end of spring training to sign. Granted, they're pitchers, but still, and he didn't even get the best deals for these guys. His clients lost millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Right?
It's ridiculous. And whatever. I don't know. I don't know. I guess we're just not in that world where, money is just really no object. Because maybe, I guess sound like haters, I guess, or whatever, because we're not millionaires. But there's definitely too much of the wealth in this country is very outbalanced. And, me and you get up and we bust our ass every single day to do what we do. And, we're still going to go to these games. We're still going to buy the jerseys. We're still going to talk about, we're still going to have the MURF and EDUBBS show. But it doesn't make it fair. Like even today, like, the RFK Jr. is not allowed to get into this debate with these two guys. Why? I don't know, because he didn't get enough votes. Like this country is so one way, and they want one person to succeed. They want one person to succeed, and everybody else can get a trophy. And that's what this world has come to.
Participation.
I can tell you one thing about who's getting a bunch of trophies is the entire Mets batting lineup.
Yeah, Rich, it's amazing the turnaround they've done the past 2 weeks. Like we said, they had that clubhouse meeting, and then of course Grimace, which we talked about. But what the hell's going on in Flushing?
Dude, listen, let's get all the rumors out of the way first. Let's not the rumors. Let's get all like the fun stuff out of the way. Yes, Grimace threw out that first pitch. I didn't know this until yesterday, which my son told me because I don't know. I told you a couple weeks ago, like you never come to a point where you go on a break with your girlfriend or your wife because you're just not getting along. So it's going to go on a break. I was on a break with the Mets for about 2 weeks, and we came back last week and into this storm of wins. Now the Grimace game, I just found out yesterday, threw out the first pitch. That's all well and good. I also heard that the Mets switched their logo to the June, which is Gay Pride Month. They switched their logos, saying there's something like 17-3 with the Gay Pride logo. And they're saying all sorts of different stuff or to mess up their mojo or to give the mojo. You know what it is? They're all hitting. They're all playing. And they went into that meeting, players only meeting, everybody else out. Don't know what was said in that meeting. But I'll tell you one thing. I don't know who it was, but somebody lit a fire under that fucking team, dude. And I'll tell you one thing. Let's bang right off the bat. First thing, Francisco Lindor leading off. Been on fire ever since they moved him. I know he's moved them up 1, but you know what, though? Moved Nimmo down to 2. Look at Nimmo banging home runs, hitting the ball. You know who's not doing anything and who's not going to be on this team come the end of July? And I will get a bag of baseballs for him because I don't care. And one of those stupid bats, Jeff McNeil needs to be as far away from this New York Mets team as possible when they're focusing on a win because you're plugging up a hole there of somebody that could actually try and play baseball and not think that you're going to hit a home run every time. You're not going to hit a home run every time, Jeff McNeil. He's got to go. But I know I rant and raved about maybe breaking up the core or this, that, and the other thing. Let's give this core one more run at something because something's happening. JD Martinez should have been on this team last year. Since JD Martinez is here, he's got 9 home runs and 31 RBIs. Okay. Pete Alonso, is being in a lineup with JD Martinez right now. 16 home runs, 42 RBIs. Lindor is knocking the cover off the ball. He hit 2 doubles today. He hit home run the other day. He's got 12 home runs. He's batting .244. He's upped his batting average over 40 points in the last month, dude. And he's leading off. Okay. Guys like who's this guy? What's his name? Who's on this who's this new I can't even pronounce his name. The new Spanish guy they got on the
Torrens, the catcher. They got him from the Yankees.
Like 600, Eric.
Yeah.
Guy's batting 600. Put him in. Bang. Harrison Bader hitting. Vientos. Listen, dude, he's got to learn how to pick up a ground ball. You got to learn how to field that position. because Brett Beatty, you are not coming anywhere back near the starting lineup if Vientos is hitting the way he's hitting. Beatty's not a baseball player. Go do something else. Vientos, that's your spot to earn. He has to start playing third base and start making those plays. He flubbed an easy double play today. I know the Mets won. They kicked the shit out of the Cubs today, but he flubbed an easy double play today. But then he went in and he got a couple of hits. He's got to learn the position because Brett Beatty, you're not coming back. I know you say it is what it is, but he needs to stay away from this team. JD Martinez, Pete Alonso, Francisco Lindor, Jeff McNeil gone, Starling Marte, 12 stolen bases, running all over the place. He's batting .279. He is a spark plug. He is throwing people out at home plate. He is a shotgun for an arm, dude. He's killing people at home plate. Starling Marte in right field. He's going to be gone at the end of this year as another guy. That's why this team right now has to get it together and do something. Harrison Bader loves this baseball team. He loves being out there in right field. He's making Nimmo look good out there. This team has to get something together on the relief because the minute you see Ottavino and Drew Smith come into this baseball game, I don't care if we have a 16-run lead because that's what was going on a couple of weeks ago. They will blow it. Diaz is actually playing again like he knows how to throw a baseball. This Mets team is coming alive at the right time, and I saved the best for last because this young man was hurt for a little while. This young man came back the other day, and this young man is going to be the best catcher in baseball in 5 years. It's going to take a little while for him to mature. It's going to take a little while for him to do a couple of things that I think he could get right as a catcher. Francisco Alvarez hit another home run today. When that kid is in the lineup, that is the spark. It's not the gay pride flag. It's not Fat Grimace from McDonald's. It's not any other. It's Francisco Alvarez coming into that lineup with his war paint on and telling the Mets, let's go battle. He's the swagger on that baseball team. He's the guy that comes in there and say, why are the long faces, guys? Let's get out there and kick the shit out of this baseball team. I don't care who's out there. He probably says it in Spanish, and it probably sounds a lot cooler in Spanish, but I think he is the spark plug for this Mets team. And any Met fan that says anything different, look at the record before him, and now look at the record now and going forward. With that man behind the plate, the Mets are going to win a lot of baseball games.
Yeah, no doubt. What about the pitching, Rich? Pitching's been coming along. Severino, definitely an asset. And Manaea, too, is pitching pretty good.
Manaea's pitching good, better than I thought he was. And I can tell you, Severino's pitching a lot better than I thought he was. Quintana had a good outing today. I'm just, when is Senga coming back? We keep hearing Senga's coming back. What is he, hanging out with his ghost forkball? What is he doing? If he comes back 100%, I have a lot more faith in this Mets pitching staff because Manaea is good. Had a couple of good outings. Severino's good. I just don't know like where the Mets pitching staff, what identity. They don't have really an identity. They don't have a guy. They don't have that guy that if we do make the playoffs, they don't have that game one guy that's going to come in there and say, I am going to pitch this game, get on my back. Maybe Senga be healthy by the playoffs if the Mets are, fortunate enough to make it, but they don't have that guy that says, put this goddamn team on my back and let's go win a World Series. That's what I'm worried about.
Yeah, maybe Senga comes back soon. They spoke about Senga before the Mets went on this tear, basically. Maybe they were trying to hold him out, but maybe they need him back now. Maybe he does come back in July or after the All-Star break or something like that. I mean, what was the injury, Rich? What was the injury?
For who?
For Senga.
For Senga? I think he's got I think he had did he have Tommy John?
Oh, was it? I don't think so because
I don't know. I honestly, Eric, it's been so long. Call me a bad Mets fan. I don't give a shit if you call me a bad Mets fan because it's been so long since this guy's been here.
Yeah,
maybe.
I think
I don't know.
I think it was the Garrett Cole injury, where they pitch in spring training and they feel like they have a dead arm or something like that. But yeah, I don't know. They need him back. I mean, if they get him back, if they make a trade, I was thinking they were going to trade JD Martinez at the trading deadline before they went into this. Before they went to this winning streak.
And that's another thing too. I said the spark is Francisco Alvarez. JD Martinez is another guy. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he's the guy that called this team only meeting the other day.
It could have been him, right? He's the veteran, right? He's been around the block.
That's what I heard. And if that's the case, I love this guy even more. And Eric, you know me, man. I've been calling for this guy before last season even started, when he started this free agency stint. This guy he's a professional. He's a professional hitter. He goes in there and that's what he does. Him in any lineup makes your better hitters or your worst hitters better because he's going to see the bad pitches. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
no,
when
yeah,
P. Alonso's going to come in there and he's going to get a meatball.
yeah, no, he definitely makes the lineup better, just like the Yankees with Soto and Judge. Alonso gets better pitches and stuff because look who's behind them, JD. But yeah, I mean, what a spark plug that guy is. He missed the first month of the season. The guy comes in, and my son, Ben's saying he's going to be he's going to make the All-Star game basically. JD Martinez, you never know, right? He might make the All-Star team.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, it's kind of. I don't want to get myself too excited. Like I said, it's always, again, going back to fandom. Like I said, Yankee fans, and it just is what it is. 28 championships will do that for you. It's like you just expect World Series. You expect greatness. You expect your players to perform at this high level. Met fans are happy that we're playing at this level. You know what I mean? It's like it's a confidence issue. Like you guys have confidence. Even if the Yankees don't make the playoffs, you're all pissed off, but you're still the Yankees. Met fans are like, all right, we're playing good. So we're happy being this team that's scrappy, and we're happy being this team that might make the playoffs. Whereas Yankee fans, it's like, we don't make the playoffs. They fucking suck, whatever. Let's go Giants. But Met fans are kind of like, all right, we're scrapping back. We need a pitcher. We need this. So I think, as fandom goes, that's why I tell my son every time that the Jets don't win the Super Bowl and the Mets don't win a World Series in his lifetime after every season, that it's bad, but when it does happen, when 1986 happened for me, Eric, and I shit you not, I was 14 years old, and I tell the story all the time. I was so happy to watch the Mets win a World Series. I watched every single playoff game, every single game. I watched all the games that year. I'm a 14-year-old Met fan at this point, and to see them win a World Series in 1986, I want that feeling for my son. I want my son to feel what it's like to have his team win a World Series.
Yeah, I was speaking to Ben the other day. I said, Rich roots for the Mets, the Jets, two teams that haven't won in his, well, the Mets did win in '86, but like if the Jets won a Super Bowl, Rich, I don't know what you would do with yourself. What would you do?
I don't know, because that's the thing. Like this year, like I was saying before, Eric, this is the year. Like I don't like if nothing goes wrong, there's no injuries. Like in a perfect scenario, perfect situation. This is supposed to be the year. Both sides of the ball. I don't want to hear that they don't have this or they don't have that. They have three more than serviceable offensive linemen now, so we can't blame it on the offensive line. We have one very high level running back and two pretty good running backs to back them up. We have a wide receiver core who's rumored to have Brandon Ayuk in it come start of the season. I mean, I don't know what else more we can do, because if that's the case, then it's the coach's fault, because there is talent all over the football on that Jet team. And like the Mets, and not unlike the Mets right now are trying to find their identity and they're trying to find their big time player. It's kind of a conglomeration. The Mets have to have every single person on that team playing in order for them to win baseball games, whereas the Yankees could pitch well and have Soto and Stanton win the game for you. The Mets all have to pitch in and play team baseball.
Yeah, Rich,
it's exciting.
There's no feeling like the world of winning a championship. And the best feeling is ordering the T-shirt afterwards. I did it with the Buccaneers a couple of years ago. They won the championship, and I'm numb, on the chair, like, did this just happen and stuff? And within a half hour, I ordered my T-shirt and stuff. So there's 86. We didn't have the T-shirts really that needed the merchandise, but yeah. The championship, you got to buy that T-shirt, Rich. Maybe you'll buy two this year, right?
Maybe. And that we're talking about championships, and we'll bounce out to basketball for 1 second, because I want to kind of, me, I'm a diehard Celtics fan. Love the Celtics. All right,
congratulations.
But yeah, that's where I'm having some weird feelings about my fandom. Okay, Now, yes, it was awesome that the Celtics won. But I'm thinking to myself, 18 championships, the one I really, really remember, and the one I really, really hold on to, and the one I really, really hang my hat on is the 2008 championship, because I love Kevin Garnett, and I just loved that team. I love the whole persona, the tough guy persona with Pierce and Garnett. And now they win this year. Now, I was happy, don't get me wrong, but I was comparing it to the Mets and the Jets. I'd be out of this world tears, running around like a lunatic. I'd be on my first, subway to New York. The Celtics winning to me, I guess more being like, basketball has become like a third entity to me over the last like maybe 15 years since the Celtics in 2008 that won the championship where I'm happy. But it's like, yeah, it's cool, man. It's cool. But in the back of my head, I really was hoping that Luka Doncic did pretty good. So am I really a huge Celtics fan? If in the back of my head, I didn't want them to win, but I would have liked to see Luka play well. Am I really a Celtics fan if I wanted Luka to play well? I'm having a little hard time with that.
Yeah, you're definitely a Celtics fan. Like you said, Rich, the 2008 was your year.
Yes.
With me, it was 1998 Yankees. I mean, this 96, 99, 2000 against the Mets, 2009 Phillies, even the 77, 78 Dodgers series. I was a little kid. I was like 10 years old, but the 1998 Yankees. I mean, that was like the most special team in baseball. I mean, probably no team will ever come close to that. I mean, Jorge Posada, Tino Martinez, Jeter. You had Scott Brocious come over, basically. Who was Brocious? Brocious comes over to the Yankees and fits in the mold there. I mean, there was just so much chemistry on this team. Bernie Williams, Paul O'Neill, even Darryl Strawberry. He was a big contributor that year. Then you had the pitching. You had El Duque, Andy Pettit. You had Cone, even Arabu. Arabu contributed a little bit. The big fat toad, as Steinbrenner called him. But and of course Mariano in the bullpen. But it was that we have those special teams, Rich. Even the Buccaneers, the first Buccaneers team that I saw win the Super Bowl. We beat the Raiders. We manhandled the Raiders, but for me, the special one is the Tom Brady one, because what they did is they brought Brady in, they brought Gronk in for one purpose only, Rich, and they accomplished that, basically. So yeah, I know where you're coming from, Rich, and I think if the Mets win a World Series this year, next year, the year after, whatever, I think you're going to look back on the '86 team, Rich, as the best Mets team to win the World Series in your lifetime, basically.
See, because talking about those Celtics teams and stuff, is like, again, I really loved Kevin Garnett. Like I said, I back in the day, and I'm not going to forget about '86. I love Larry Bird. I mean, it's just like and then like Michael Jordan came after that, and and it's kind of just like yeah, I'm a Celtics fan. It's nice, but. And another thing I noticed about this Celtics championship team that was probably very similar maybe to the 2008 team is, if you notice, Jason Tatum did not win the MVP. Okay, which I didn't think. I think what Jaylen Brown should have gotten. So this team right here that won this championship right here, the reason they did is because Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum realized that one was not better than the other. And I think there's something to be said about that, because if there's an obvious comparison to their play of two players that are trying to capture the limelight on a team, like LeBron and like Dwayne Wade, okay, when they played at Miami, like there was obvious that LeBron James was the man, best player in basketball, and Dwayne Wade was, really, really good, So I think that like the whole team, I think you got Jaylen Brown, you got Jason Tatum, is like they're both the best player on that team. And I think that they both realized that this year, because if you notice, and it happened the entire season with the Celtics, when Tatum and Brown score 34 each maybe, or 35 each, and they both combine for like 70, and the rest of the team doesn't do much, they usually lose. But if you see a team, and it's happened a lot, is when everybody's in double digits, Porzingis is scoring 20, and this team won a championship on everybody contributing and having double digits, and those guys scoring 25 and 10 assists and having double doubles, and realizing that there's room on the Boston Celtics for two superstars, not just one. And I think Jason Tatum realized that this year. And I think this made this championship a hell of a lot easier to win than the last year's, when he thought that he had to put everything on his shoulders, when he disappeared completely in the fourth quarter. Now he's like, you know what? This guy's just as good as me. Let's share the limelight. And let's both be the guy, and let's both want to take that shot. Because you know what, though? Everybody around us is going to contribute, and we're going to win this championship. We are going to win this championship. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown aren't going to get that for their specific legacy. They are going to get it. This Boston Celtics team was a they, and that's why they won the championship.
Yeah, and, as a Brooklyn Nets fan, we don't want to hear the words Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Well,
just makes sense.
Or Kevin Garnett and Paul
Oh, I
Pierce.
love Kevin Garnett. That's Kevin Garnett. That's Kevin Garnett. I don't know. You can't
Yeah,
see
I'm
Garnett.
talking the trade that brought Kevin Garnett to the Nets and Paul Pierce. That really
I didn't
that trade.
care. I didn't care where Kevin Garnett went. I would have watched him play because Minnesota Timberwolves. I loved watching that guy play basketball. He was a beast, and I loved watching him play.
Yeah, no doubt, a beast on the court and stuff. No doubt about that. But yeah, congratulations on the Celtics, and we'll see what happens with the Mets and Jets now. Rich, we can only sit back and wait and stuff. Yankees are losing 8-1 tonight. They're getting killed by the Braves. I don't know what's going to happen to this team, but I think we need JD Martinez to come in our clubhouse and Aaron Judge. He's the captain. He's really got to sit these guys down tonight and maybe break a table or something like that, But we know Aaron Judge isn't the type to get angry.
Yeah, do you think he can do that? Do you think he could Paul O'Neill a water cooler or something? I don't think he's not that guy. But I do think he can lead with a different presence. You don't have to lead with violence. You don't have to lead with going crazy. You can lead in other ways, and I think maybe he's got that in him. Like, do you think he's got that in him or not?
Yeah, well, he's the captain, of course. I think he has it in him. He's calling Brian Cashman up to get Juan Soto on the team. So, he was influential in that too and stuff. So I think he's got some pull, Judge. And I think the players respect him too, Rich. I don't think there's any player that disrespects Judge.
No, they shouldn't. They absolutely shouldn't.
Right. Exactly.
You do gotta be careful though, Yankee fans, how you treat Aaron Judge, because I think he's a little sensitive. So I don't think Soto is going to be on the team next year. So if you're going to cheer for somebody, Yankee fans, I think you might want to cheer more for number 99, because when those cheers in Yankee Stadium get a little more louder for, was he 22? Soto, I think Judge feels that in his spine a little bit. So I don't know. I think he's kind of sensitive. Do you agree or disagree?
Yeah, it's kind of hard to gauge, Rich. I think the cheers for Juan Soto a little bit louder than Judge lately, or Judge had that bad April though. You got to give Judge the better. He had that bad April. People are saying, "Oh my God, he's regressing. His career's over." Blah blah blah. They don't realize baseball can change on a dime, basically. So May 1st comes around, the guy's hitting the cover off the ball, basically. So every big hitter and every big baseball player has to have the mindset of Pete Alonso when he goes up to the plate. Pete Alonso is not going to hit a home run every time he goes up to the plate, but Pete Alonso in his mind is going to hit a home run. Everybody doesn't cheer for Pete Alonso when he gets up to bat. Doesn't matter what stadium he is. People are cheering for him in his head. Everybody has to go. If you look at him, Eric, you don't watch him like me and my son do. The way he talks to his baseball glove, the way he looks at his bat, and he kind of like, if he strikes out, he kind of gets angry at his equipment. Like he's a strange bird. And like when he does weird stuff, Pete Alonso, or he says weird things, he's just like kind of like that guy. That's why he's not going anywhere, dude. Because I don't think Pete Alonso is one of those guys that I have a nephew that's kind of like Pete Alonso. And I think Tyler, my nephew Tyler is like Pete Alonso. If you tell Pete Alonso that Pete Alonso is going to go to the Cincinnati Reds tomorrow for a little bit more money because they want him to go hit home runs, Pete Alonso is going to say, okay. And he's just going to go. But I think he does love being a Met. But I think he just has all this stuff built up in his head that he is the man and he is going to hit a home run every single time and everybody loves him. And it doesn't matter where he goes or where he is. But for the time being, I know he's happy being a Met. You think the Mets could afford both Alonso and Soto, Rich?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. If any team in the Major League Baseball can, dude, you're going to tell me that Cohen can't? If you really wanted to. Now, let's just take everything out of the way about how wrong it is because the Dodgers have all the money and Cohen and all these people have billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars. And because there's no salary cap, they could do whatever they want. Let's just take all that out of the equation that, it's not fair. But when it comes down to it, if you want to be, what's his name? Steve Cohen, and spend $1 billion on two players, do it. Why not?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Why not?
Yep.
It's a rule. You're not breaking any rules. The luxury tax that these little teams that aren't spending any money are going to get an enormous kickback. So what's the problem? The problem is you all have relatively the same amount of money when you think about it. Because once you get into billions, it's all relative. So billionaires own baseball teams. Whether you choose that to be your main focus or not, it's up to you. So If you're a city like Oakland and a billionaire owns your baseball team and you're not getting the right players, your owner's not doing the right thing, Steve Cohen is putting money into the luxury tax so your team can do something on top of the fact that you have a billionaire owner. So the fact that there's no real I'd say camaraderie. There's really, really good teams and there's really bad teams is because of that reason, because owners that own those teams are not into it because they're baseball fans and the other guys are. Steve Cohen happens to be a baseball fan. If you tell him that you're allowed to spend $1 billion on 2 players, sure. My luxury tax, sure. Yes, I do think he's got enough money to spend it on 2 players, where I think the Yankees are going to be a lot more cost efficient. I think that this is going to be a season, and it's this year. Last year and this year are going to be 2 seasons that are going to go down in history as crazy because there was a big fight for Shohei Ohtani, who we all knew was going to stay out west. And now this next coming up is going to be a big, big, huge fight for Soto. And I think Soto is going to come to the Mets, dude.
Yeah, Rich, do you think Major League Baseball, when a guy comes to buy a team, do you think Major League Baseball should make sure these owners are baseball fans and want to spend on the team rather than spending on a stadium or putting pretty lights outside the ballpark or something like that? I think it takes away from the game. Like if somebody buys your team and doesn't want to invest in it, but just wants to make a profit off the TV money, it's not fair for the city. It's not fair for the fans that go and watch that team.
Let's be honest. The owner of the Baltimore Orioles is standing in the room with the owner of the Tampa Bay Rays, and they're just talking, right? They're both billionaires. So the guy in the Baltimore Orioles is looking at the guy at the Tampa Rays saying, "It's like, bro, what's going on? It's a lot of fun. Look at all these players I'm getting. Well, how come you're not even worrying about your team?" He's like,
right.
Whatever. I'll pump about 30-40 million into that shit. He's like, if they win, they win. He's like, yo, man, this is a lot of fun. Listen, put more money, make it more competitive. This has got to because they all follow in the same circles. You're going to tell me that?
Of course they do. Of course.
Well, the guys that are sitting at these meetings, they got to say, even Steve Cohen and the Steinbrenners are probably hanging out looking at a team like the Cincinnati Reds, and they're all hanging out together. And the New York boys are messing with the little guy from Cincinnati, saying you're not putting a lot of money. It's like, yo, you're going to give that guy Ellie De La Cruz $150 million? Like, what are you doing over there? I'll take him for 300. All that stuff is being spoken about at a large capacity in all these meetings and all these events that these billionaires go to. And it's a matter of if they want to take it seriously or not. And it sucks for a city like Oakland. It sucks for a city like Tampa. And it sucks for a lot of these cities that their owners don't give a shit about the baseball team.
It does. And it makes baseball like a 30-team league. It's more like a 5-team league, basically, Like if you go into April, every team's 0-0. But if you go and know your team doesn't have a chance, why even bother going to the game?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. You're absolutely right, dude. Absolutely right.
It's crazy.
Wow.
I guess it's the landscape of baseball now. I don't know. Who knows? But Rich, I just want to get into one thing. So this week was the 30th anniversary of a special event. It was the O.J. Simpson Ford Bronco chase. I guess O.J. was on his way to Mexico or something like that. But you know what happened that day in the world of sports, Rich? It's probably the most biggest sports day in U.S. history. First of all, some of the things, Arnold Palmer played his final U.S. Open ever in 1994 on June 17th. Arnold Palmer and O.J. Simpson appeared in a lot of Hertz commercials. You remember that? So they were good buddies, right?
When he was running through the through the airport.
Yeah. So Arnold Palmer and O.J. Simpson, good friends. Also, the 1994 World Cup first game in the United States was on that day, June 17th, 1994. Downtown and Broadway, the Rangers celebrated the Stanley Cup. They just won a couple of days before. So June 7th, that's what happened in New York on June 17th, 94. And that night, the Rockets and Knicks played at Madison Square Garden, and all eyes were on OJ instead of the basketball game. And Ken Griffey tied Babe Ruth's record, most home runs in the team's 65th game of the season. But I was speaking to Rob at your dad's wake the other day. We were talking about the O.J. Simpson thing, and he said that Bob Costas was a good fan of O.J., a good friend of O.J., and I think Bob Costas wasn't. And I said Bob Costas really has a good choice of friends because not only was he friends with O.J., but he was friends with Kirby Puckett as well. And we all know the image that Kirby Puckett left after he passed away. All the skeletons came out of his closet, basically. But kind of fascinating. 30 years ago, the O.J. Simpson race for the border, right?
Just what do you call it? Rewind for 1 second, because you just said something to me that because we would be remiss if we didn't mention the passing of Willie Mays because
Oh yes,
we didn't
yes,
get
yes,
it
yes,
yet. But
yes, yes.
I wanna show you some stat, just a stat that I saw today. I just took a screenshot of it. There's a couple of things here on how good Willie Mays actually was.
Mm-hmm.
They're compared. The stat head went. I guess you don't. Maybe like a lot of people in our age bracket, right? Because we've put Ken Griffey Jr. probably in our top 5. Anybody in our
Yep.
age group will probably put Ken Griffey Jr. in their top 5 of
Mm-hmm.
best baseball players we've ever seen. I
Sure.
mean, could I say that, Eric? Like, I'm
Yeah.
talking about,
Oh, no doubt, no doubt.
Okay. Now, I want to give you just a couple of stats because they compared Griffey and Willie Mays. They compared their stats. Okay. Now, Ken Griffey Jr., one of the greatest baseball players that ever lived. Willie Mays, me, you, to some of us, probably the greatest baseball player that ever lived.
Mm-hmm.
Wins above replacement. I still, to this day, I'm not really sure about how that works, but I know it's a pretty good stat. 156.2 is Willie Mays' WAR. Okay. Ken Griffey Jr., 83.8. Okay. Games, 3,000 to let's see, plate appearances are relatively the same. Okay, hits, 3293 hits. Ken Griffey Jr., 2781. Home runs, 660, 630. RBIs. Just to say how much a better slugging. He slugged 60 points higher. His on base was 70% higher. His batting average was higher. His OPS was higher. Like, and I'm not talking a little higher, a lot
Mm-hmm.
higher. And you're
Mm-hmm.
comparing two of the greatest baseball players to ever. We just said that stats don't really mean anything, and you're right. But you're looking at two players that played the game right, and statistically, Willie Mays just even buries Ken Griffey Jr.
Wow.
Buries him.
Crazy.
It's unbelievable. I mean, can you imagine like what it must have been like to be alive and watch a guy like Willie Mays play baseball?
Yeah, you take it for granted, Rich. Willie Mays was, he was the greatest living ball player. I don't know who the greatest living now is, but yeah, you look at the stats, and even with trivia, Rich, when they ask me a trivia question, I always put in Willie Mays because he's always part of the trivia question. That's how his name always pops up, Rich, in these stats, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he was just. I mean, he was like incredible. I don't know, it was amazing.
It's just ironic. They had this game in Rickwood Field in Birmingham, Alabama, and Willie Mays like died this week. It's just crazy how that stuff happens sometimes, right?
Yeah, and I mean, I watched that game, and I watched the inning where they called it like it was like oldie times and stuff,
Yeah,
and like
yep.
It was very very boring, and the picture was very like I didn't really need to see all that. But I mean, they are starting to actually kind of give the Negro Leagues their just desserts. You know what I mean? Because
I want
we could do a whole show on that. I know because there's a lot of stuff that needs to be discussed when it comes to that.
Well,
but
I think we didn't talk about, but they want to incorporate the stats into Major League Baseball and stuff. But we could do that for a different show. But I want to talk about Reggie Jackson, Rich. So
yes.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw the Reggie Jackson interview last night. He was on the the dais, or whatever, the desk with the announcers and stuff. So
I did not. I would love to hear what he said.
Yeah, Reggie Jackson said basically coming back to Birmingham was not easy. Reggie Jackson played his minor league baseball in Birmingham, and then he went on to say the racism when I played here, the difficulty of going through different places when we traveled. Fortunately, I had a manager and I had players on the team that helped me get through it, but I wouldn't wish on anybody. Now, Reggie Jackson, his manager, John McNamara, white manager, Raleigh Fingers, white, Dave Duncan, he was on the team, a pitcher or catcher, whatever, white, and Joe Rudy, of course, white. So all these white players on the team really got in Jackson's corner. Actually, he was staying at Joe Rudy's house on his couch. Joe and his wife let him stay on the couch, and the KKK got wind of that, and they said they would burn the whole apartment complex down if Reggie didn't move out, basically. Reggie said, he came out and said, he said, fortunately, I had a manager and John McNamara that if they would kick him out of a restaurant, Reggie Jackson, McNamara would take the whole team out of the restaurant and say, we're not eating here, we're going to take out somewhere else. And the same thing with hotels, too. If Reggie Jackson got rejected from a hotel, McNamara would not let them stay in the hotel. They find other hotels. So Reggie went out to say, if it wasn't for John McNamara and his teammates, he probably would have made out of Birmingham, Alabama alive. he thinks he would have got killed there, or on the other way, he would have beat someone's butt basically and killed that person. So kind of an interesting story. We're only talking 50 years, Rich. 50
Isn't that
years ago.
amazing? I was just going to say that. We're talking 50 years ago. Isn't that amazing
Yep.
that's so,
I mean, things you take for
it's not,
granted, Rich, going to get a hamburger, I mean, and not being allowed to sit down at the table because you're a different color. It just it doesn't make any sense. And you know, when I heard this from Reggie Jackson last night, I kind of heard this story before, but I think everyone should go and Google this interview last night. But you know, you kind of watch this stuff in awe. Like I said, Rich, 50 years is not that long ago.
Yeah.
And
Now,
think,
go ahead. I'm sorry. Go
ahead. And to think that some of this stuff's still going on today,
yes.
it's just mind-boggling. But you know,
and they say these people, they say these people like Reggie Jackson, and they say even Jackie Robinson, and they say some of these guys like, oh, they were angry, or Jackie Robinson towards the end of his life, like he was a little angry, and Reggie Jackson was a little angry, and whoever else you want to talk about. If you want to deal with some of that shit your entire life, people calling you all sorts of names just because you want to play baseball, now that's got to weigh on you a little bit. Like, you're a man. You know what I mean? And if you have to have an insane amount of resiliency. Like, obviously that's the reason, I guess, why they chose, as you say, as everybody says, Jackie Robinson, when there's other players that they could have chose, but maybe they couldn't handle the way that Jackie Robinson did. But why were we even looking at it from a perspective of how are they going to handle black players playing with white players? It's so far-fetched. I mean, obviously it's part of history, and it's an embarrassing part in American history, where we look. But the thing is, it's embarrassing to a point where there was actually laws back then created, like the Jim Crow laws and stuff like that. That's the embarrassing part. It's even more embarrassing that all those laws are gone, but people still feel that way. That's the more embarrassing part, that America still actually feels that way in some parts of the country, that's the real embarrassing part.
Right. It's crazy. I mean, I was down south. Last year we were down south. We were down in Alabama. I'm sorry, in Atlanta, and then we went on to Valdosta, Georgia. We were driving into Florida, and you could feel it. You could feel it, Rich. I mean, the way people are treated and stuff like that. Still, it's just mind-boggling that it's 2024. And people are still being looked down on because of what color skin they have. It's crazy. It just doesn't make any sense.
I want to ask you a question. Okay, like, we're getting close to the end here. It's almost it's 1:51. I want to ask you a question. It's not sports related, unfortunately. If you want to answer, you don't have to answer, because I saw something yesterday on television that was really disturbing to me. And if people aren't disturbed about this, it's you're not really forward thinking. The state of Louisiana yesterday, right, incorporated that all schools, including public schools, all public schools in the state of Louisiana must display a visible and coherent version of the 10 Commandments as you walk into the school. Now, I looked up the demographics of Louisiana. I mean, it says it's 99% Catholic. There's about 15,000 Jews that live in there, and there's about 15,000 Jews and about 10,000 of this, but there's about maybe like 100,000 of a contingent that's not Catholic. Okay,
right.
Now, I don't know. It doesn't offend. Stuff doesn't offend me. Like, I'm not religious or anything, but now Texas is thinking of doing this too. Now, do you think that's offensive to people? And do you think it's offensive to the Constitution?
I think
you don't have to answer if you don't want, if you don't get into it. I just wanted to ask you because you're not a real practicing Jew, but you are of Jewish religion. So and that's like kind of making you feel a certain way. Like, it's almost like it's being protected by government law. So adultery is being protected by government law, and everybody is cheating. In government, they're all cheating on their wives in the government. So you, as a person that's not Catholic, sending Ben to a school, little Ben is 9, and he has to look at the 10 Commandments every single day. You're not that religious, but let's say somebody that is. Right. I think that's a little crazy, dude.
Yeah, like I said, not very religious, and there's a whole thing of separation of church and state, which should be practiced. But like I always say, the Pledge of Allegiance. The Pledge of Allegiance is not religious. The Pledge of Allegiance is based on the country. And I know it says one nation under God,
Under God.
right? But
Yeah.
still, it's a country thing. It's not every religion believes in a God, Rich, you know?
I agree.
So, you know what I mean? But I don't know. I don't know. I mean, maybe people have different, you know, I just don't know. But the thing that gets me sometimes is like we're the United States of America, and every state has their own rules, basically. So, right?
I've been on this whole tangent about how, like, you know, extreme rights and extreme lefts are destroying this country. Like the lefts on these, everybody gets a trophy, and we have to accept the pronouns, and we have to do all this stuff on the extreme left. When you look at the extreme right is trying to incorporate the Bible into our daily lives. And I'm sorry if people don't think that that's true, but if you listen to some of the laws that the extremists over here on the right-hand side that want to pump out their propaganda, there's very, very high religious tones in a lot of this stuff that they want to push through,
Well,
including the fact that one state wants you to look at the 10 Commandments when you walk into school every day.
I think we have to realize that America's a country. America's not a religion. And on that note, maybe we need the purple guy to run the country, a guy in the middle. And you know who's the purple guy I'm going to bring up?
Grimace?
Grimace for president in 2024, Rich.
All right, Eric.
We go with a bang, Rich, and now I'll go to McDonald's and get some French fries. Actually, look it up. Grimace wasn't a good guy. Grimace stole a lot of stuff. He wasn't he wasn't a model citizen, Grimace.
Hey, listen, I want to mention one more thing before we sign off here, dude. With all this talk going on about Caitlin Clark and the WNBA, we have a really good friend of ours, a friend of our family, the Sweeneys, and I know I mention them on this all the time. And they have a daughter. Mary Sweeney is a friend of ours, and they have children. Charlie played baseball with Aiden, and she has a daughter, Gabby. Now, Gabby is a basketball player. She's a high level high school basketball player. I mean, she graduates this year. Okay. She got a full ride to Division I Bryant University in Rhode Island. Okay. She just had the awards last week. She got all section, all league, scholar athlete. She was a varsity captain. She got a full ride to the Division I school. This girl is breaking records. She's breaking points records. I mean, I watch, I know this family for a couple of years, and like she was a little girl, and you just watch her practicing, and it's like, you look at her and I'm like, this girl's got so much fire, and she's different. Now, if you look at this girl now, she's going to college now. And I texted her mom the other day. I texted her, Mary, and I said, listen, is there any way I could contact your daughter to get an interview with her, before she becomes all big and famous and she forgets about us? So she texted me right back and said, sure, of course, absolutely. So I'm going to probably next week, either on Wednesday or Thursday, I'm going to interview Gabby Sweeney for this channel. And I want to I want everybody to realize how hard it is for some of these young ladies to get into, these high level sports, because, it really kind of fell by the wayside about how hard these girls work. And this girl, Gabby, is a testament to how hard these girls are working. And she's a testament to talent and hard work, not to mention she's smart too. So she's got everything figured out. So I want to get this girl on, and I'm going to introduce our listeners and introduce people to a local talent that we have here. And we have a bunch of them. And I think, like, by far, she is going to go places, and we're going to hear her name, very soon. Like, college, you're going to hear her. I don't even know, WNBA, the sky's the limit for her. So very proud of her just as a friend of the family. And I'm really looking forward to sitting down with her on either Wednesday or Thursday. I'll get it out there when I'm going to sit down and talk to her. But I'm going to be interviewing Gabby Sweeney next week, and I'm going to put that on YouTube. And it should be pretty interesting. She's a very interesting girl. Like, she's not quiet. She's very, she talks, she's not quiet. So it'll be a good interview. It'll be funny. So I think, we got to get the word out about some of these local athletes here, because she is killing it, dude. And I'm pretty happy that she's able to sit down with us.
Very nice, Rich. Very good. And one more thing before I sign off and watch the Yankees have a 7-run comeback in the bottom of the ninth. The Stanley Cup, Rich, we forgot to mention hockey. Yes. Hockey's wrapping up, but the Edmonton Oilers are winning 3-0 right now. So we might have a Game 7, Rich.
How crazy is that? That's why hockey is awesome, dude. They were down 3-0 to the Florida Panthers, who made mincemeat of the Rangers, dude. And now they're playing a game 7 against Edmonton Oilers, who, from what I understand, is the stronger team to begin with. But they're really showing that they are the stronger team because maybe Florida's just tired.
Well, the game's not over yet. It's the end of the second period, but the Oilers have a 3-0 lead. And then the game 7 will be Monday, 8 o'clock. So these teams are getting their frequent flyer miles. Miami to Edmonton's a long ass flight. That's a long way.
So, all right, my friend. So I'm definitely going to see you on Sunday when we do the benefit for Ernie.
Yes.
And,
are we going to do any broadcasting on Sunday, Rich? Any broadcasting or?
Yeah, but I don't think I'm going to do anything live. I'm gonna bring the microphone. I'm going to bring the camera, but I don't think I'm going to do anything live. I'm just going to do some interviews. I want to get people to give me some stories about Ernie. So anybody that does listen to this before Sunday, if you want to come sit down, if you see me, I want to get some funny stories. I'm going to put a little video together. So maybe some of the people that didn't know Ernie didn't get a chance to realize what an amazing dude that we lost from this community. And Ernie, you will be forever loved by the Murphy family and a lot of other people in this community. So Sunday, come out and support. If you haven't signed up for a team, I think they're all booked, but I'm going to be there. There's going to be a lot of people from the community there. There's going to be food. We're going to be hanging out. Even if you're not going to bowl, come down and throw some money in some of the boxes, get some 50-50. There'll be some raffles. So I'm show you love for the Alfred family on Sunday, guys. It starts, I'm pretty sure it starts at 2 o'clock, but you guys can look on the website on our website to get the right time. So yeah, come out and support Ernie on Sunday, everybody.
Yeah, I want big Ben on my team, Rich.
Absolutely.
I think I'm in good shape if Ben's on my team in bowling, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. All righty, this is another good one, dude. Like I said, we got to sit down and talk, and we got to start getting maybe a little more consistency because people are listening, and if they know that we're going to sit down at 7 o'clock to listen to us or whatever, they're going to come, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah, no doubt. And I have to get better equipment because I don't know what happened to my cameras, and I have to work on that. So.
We'll work on that too, because I think I got something. I got a couple of things I could give you and hook you up with. So
how was my audio? My audio good though, Rich? The audio was good. The audio was okay today.
The audio was great, dude. The audio was absolutely great. Listen, good. We all know that I'm the better looking one of the duo anyway, so everybody wants to see me, not you.
I know, right? I don't want to. That's how my camera broke. How do you think my camera broke, Rich?
All right, brother. We had a lot of fun, and listen, I'll see you on Sunday, and a great show, like always, and. We'll talk to you guys soon.
Yeah, Rich, I'll see you Sunday. And thanks for listening, everyone. Take care. Have a good night.
All right. Keep watching. Keep talking 365 at YouTube, guys. And we are out.
Take care.